The story kicks off with a pink-haired girl totally losing it over a 3 million coin price tag, complaining that this shop is 100% a scam. Pointing at the little blob on the counter, she claims a basic slime is worth 3,000 coins tops, and throws shade at the guy, questioning if he even knows the first thing about beast taming. But our MC just chills and explains that this little guy is definitely not your average slime. He guarantees that the 3 million coin asking price is completely fair and bound to leave any customer super satisfied. She snaps back, saying that with that kind of cash, she could easily score a star-tier pet. The MC actually nods along with her logic, but then he smoothly fires back, radiating total confidence, stating his creature is a billion times more overpowered. He breaks it down, explaining it's a mutant slime with a busted talent for endlessly devouring resources, meaning it can scale all the way to the monarch tier. Side-eyeing him hard, the customer asks why on earth she should buy into his crazy pitch. The guy just smirks and says she'll only know the truth once she takes it for a test drive. Right on cue, the sound of fancy footsteps echoes through the shop as a snarky voice asks if the young master of the Liu family has downgraded to a full-time scammer. A blonde woman struts in, laughing and loudly reminding everyone that she completely forgot he got kicked to the curb by his own family. Staring down the newcomer with zero amusement, the MC asks what she's even doing here. She acts all high and mighty, claiming she just dropped by to check on her total loser of an ex-boyfriend who doesn't even have the talent to tame beasts. Hearing the drama, the pink-haired customer low-key panics, realizing the shop owner doesn't even have taming skills. But the MC brushes it off, saying that little detail doesn't stop him from selling the absolute best pets on the market. The blonde keeps trying to drag him down, saying a talentless nobody like him should just accept his fate as an NPC after getting dumped. Getting annoyed, the pink-haired customer mutters under her breath that this girl is giving major annoying anime side character energy that nobody can stand. The MC totally agrees, saying some people are just naturally salty and she shouldn't stoop to her level. Leaving the blonde fuming, the pink-haired girl decides to ignore the haters and test the slime once and for all. She slaps some silver-tier kibble on the counter to see how the little monster reacts. And to everyone's shock, the slime immediately starts vacuuming up all the energy from the snack. It glows like crazy while leveling up at a ridiculous speed. The girl is left speechless seeing the creature's potential skyrocket from level 5 to level 9, even casually learning a water skill on the spot. The blonde at X is left completely shook, unable to process the absolute flex happening right in front of her. The customer celebrates, super glad she didn't listen to the other girl's trash talk. She tells the shop owner that since she used her own pet food, he can't charge extra, and asks if he takes cash or plastic. Smiling, the MC tells her to run the card, and she hands over a shiny gold one. Right then, a holographic screen pops up, hyping up the MC for his first sale and unlocking a max-tier talent called Dark Inferno. The system details that all his dark-type beasts will now get massively buffed stats and a bumped-up potential level. Feeling the power rushing through his hands, the MC quietly hypes himself up for finally getting his beast tamer talent back. All this crazy turn of events brings back a flashback from 12 years ago on a rainy day. Back when he was just a helpless little kid on the ground, asking his aunt what she was planning to do. Turns out, that woman was the wife of the current head of the Liu family, who only adopted him for clout and personal gain. She coldly admits she never would have bothered raising an orphan if it weren't for his ultra-rare dragon talent. Keeping up her toxic villain monologue, she grabs the kid's head and asks if he honestly believed his parents just happened to pass away in some random accident. She reveals his talent is just fuel to power up her own son, and that he should feel honored to be used. This makes the poor kid scream in agony, as all his spiritual energy gets aggressively ripped right out of him, leaving the boy completely drained and tossed on the floor, while she looks down on him with absolute disgust, saying he'd spend the rest of his days being a useless nobody. Snapping back to the present, the MC remembers when he thought he was doomed to just run this shop as a washed-up guy, until his 18th birthday rolled around, and he managed to awaken the legendary mythic pet system. The system explained that by flipping creatures in the shop, he'd score crazy new talents and top-tier loot, which was basically a cheat code for him, since running a business was already his main gig, and he swears to himself that everyone who treated him like garbage in the past is going to pay double. Back to the shop drama, the blonde tries to butt in, telling the customer not to fall for the MC's smooth talk, but the guy steps right up to her, letting her know he's officially out of patience for her toxic vibes. Spooked, she backs up and threatens to call the cops if he tries anything funny. But the MC just tells her to kindly get the heck out of his store. Feeling bold again, she challenges him, saying if he's such a big deal, he should show her another mutant beast so she can buy it. Hearing the bet, the system assistant chimes in, saying there's exactly one pet left to sell this week, and the loot drop for it is going to be insane. Not one to pass up a free carry, the guy decides to roll the gacha and starts summoning the new pet. The stat sheet flexes that it's a super busted mutant emperor skeleton. But what actually pops out is a tiny, goofy-looking skeleton wearing cute little red boots, looking completely clueless. The blonde completely loses it, laughing her head off, and accusing him of trying to scam her with literal space garbage. Even though the MC stands his ground that this cute little guy is a legit emperor skeleton, she keeps roasting him, saying it's just a bottom-tier mob that doesn't look like an emperor at all. But what she doesn't realize is that the MC can see the little warrior's ridiculously broken hidden talent. It can literally farm infinite XP by defeating enemies until it turns into a full-blown necromancer emperor. Refusing to buy into the hype, the blonde claims she's never heard of a pet with a boundless scaling hack, which gets the pink-haired girl stepping up, telling the blonde she seriously needs to get her eyes checked. But the MC just waves it off, saying you can't expect everyone to recognize a top-tier build when they see one. Big mad, the blonde whips out her phone, saying she's bringing in a real pro to expose these two frauds. She immediately dials the manager of another store, demanding he drop everything and pull up. A little while later, a delivery truck parks right outside the Mythic pet shop, and a manager in a white lab coat walks in holding a mystery box, while the pink-haired customer watches like a hawk. She's still hugging her new slime, looking like the happiest person on Earth, while the blonde waves wildly at the pro, trying to get his attention. He apologizes for keeping her waiting and hands over the premium pet she had pre-ordered. But she tells him to hold up a sec and take a good look at the little skeleton chilling on the counter. She proudly shows off her fire lizard, acting like it's a true high-roller pet compared to the MC's bunny sidekick. Curious, the manager steps up to the glass jar and realizes something is seriously off about the little critter. He instantly turns on his special eye scanner data analysis skill, and his jaw practically hits the floor when he sees the little guy has an infinite scaling talent and hasn't even been claimed by a tamer yet. Seeing the crazy hidden stats, the manager asks if the skeleton is for sale, offering a blank check for it, which makes the MC smile, knowing he finally found someone who isn't a total noob. The blonde is completely lost, asking why a transcendent tier tamer would ever want such a weak, level 1 scrub. The manager shuts her down, telling her not to disrespect his analysis skills, and drops the lore that the skeleton is destined to become the necromancer emperor, thanks to its boundless growth. The woman looks like she just saw a ghost, finally realizing that the goofy little bunny boy is actually a cracked mutant emperor skeleton. The pink-haired girl takes the chance to clown on the blonde, saying a pro manager at his level would never cap. The expert then scans the slime, revealing it also packs the same infinite growth hack, and will soon be able to one-shot any opponent in its weight class. Showing a visual of the magic beast overflowing with an insane amount of hydro energy. Sweating bullets to secure the drop, the manager begs to close the deal, but the MC casually mentions the price is a flat 3 million coins. The buyer is stunned because that price is such a steal, it's basically giving away a god-tier pet for free. He smashes the buy button immediately, endlessly thanking the MC for being such a bro, while the guy just gives a polite nod. Furious about how things played out, the blonde accuses her ex of trolling her by hiding the OP beasts, but the MC just fires back that she's the one who called them trash. Refusing to take the L, the woman demands he spawn another mutant beast right this second. But the MC coldly shuts her down, saying he's fresh out of stock and won't have any for her, ever. Triggered by the rejection, she goes full Karen, calling him a discarded piece of Lou family junk and asking where he gets the nerve. Right then, the MC's eyes glow dangerously as he unleashes a terrifying aura, dropping the bomb that he's already hit his second awakening. The manager is frozen in fear by that crushing pressure, guessing the kid has at least an A-tier talent. Meanwhile, the pink-haired girl bets it's actually an S-tier, and the MC just lets them cook with their theories to keep his true supreme power on the down low. Dropping to her knees from the sheer force of his energy, the blonde can't wrap her head around how he managed to unlock such a busted talent. But the MC just hits her with some snark, saying nothing is impossible in the tamer world. Realizing he's a total heavy hitter now, the woman tries to flip the script and suggests giving him one more chance to win her back. Leaving her on red in real life, the young guy starts walking away. He tells her straight up that he wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole and tells her to get out of his shop ASAP. With 0 options left, the blonde storms out fuming, calling him a heartless coward as she bails. As soon as the trespasser is gone, the MC apologizes to the 2 remaining customers and lets them know he needs to close up shop. But the pink-haired girl bounces up to him, excitedly asking for his personal digits. And the manager also pulls out his phone, wanting to network with the young tamer. Reading the room, the MC figures that networking with a girl who goes to the Tamer University could bring in a ton of new foot traffic. Plus, he realizes the manager, even though he's technically competition, could be a solid business partner, ensuring he never has to stress about failing a system quest again. So he flashes his QR code on his phone so they can both add him real quick. Shortly after, the front door is locked, signaling quitting time. And the system assistant pops up to hype him up for clearing the beginner quest, asking if he wants to unbox his loot. Pumped about the win, the guy tells her to rip those packs open right away. But looking at the drops, he's a bit weirded out by how few dark-type creatures there are. She explains those are just the freebies, suggesting he check out the premium shop to find the real top-tier shadow beasts. Scrolling through the paid catalog, the MC skips a bunch, because they're either too ugly, or just don't vibe with his talent, until he stumbles on 3 super interesting options on the screen. First, he considers the Hellhound for its crazy high DPS, but quickly nopes out remembering he got bitten by a dog when he was a kid. Then the system assistant asks which of the 3 dark options he's gonna lock in, and the guy's eyes get glued to a dragon-type creature sitting in the shop. He decides to drop 600 points to claim the legendary world Destroyer demonic dragon. It spawns in front of him as this massive, terrifying beast, making the MC seriously question if the system actually considers this thing a baby. The assistant clarifies that dragons are just built different size-wise, so he shouldn't sweat it. But what really blows the guy's mind is seeing that the dragon's base potential is already at the Overlord class, level 10. Checking out the power scaling chart, which goes all the way from the Awakening tier to the Sovereign class, he realizes the top 3 tamers in the whole country only rock Sovereign class beasts, meaning his very first pet is already knocking on the door of the global top ranks. The assistant chimes in, asking if the master is hyped about his pull, and he confirms he's absolutely thrilled, wanting to finalize the spirit contract right then and there, kicking off the magic ritual that links the young guy's soul with the giant creature, until the assistant announces the bond is officially locked in, letting him channel his energy to buff the pet. So the MC fires up his dark energy infusion skill, making the dragon let out a massive roar as it gets wrapped in heavy dark flames, popping a system notification congratulating him on the dragon hitting Awakening level 10. But the guy gets confused and asks why the monster can't break past that level cap. The assistant explains that his tamer space is basically full, and he needs to grind his own stats first before he can handle bigger beasts. Getting the picture, the MC asks if there's any way to shrink this massive unit of a dragon, and the creature instantly morphs into a tiny, cute version of itself, making it way easier to carry around the block. Somewhere else, in the university dorms, the pink-haired girl bursts in totally hyped, calling her friend over to check out her new pull. But her blue-haired friend panics and tells her to hide the slime quick before their roommate Chuying spots it. Too late though, because the blonde roommate just walked in, announcing she already caught them in 4K, and reminds the girl about their rule against bringing useless cosmetic pets into the dorm. The blue-haired friend tries to play peacekeeper, saying she didn't do it on purpose, but the slime's owner refuses to take the disrespect, swearing her pet is anything but basic and that she didn't break any rules. Flexing hard, the blonde asks if she's seriously gonna waste time on a weak little slime, showing off her own level 10 steel wolf. And the other roommate also sighs, thinking the girl totally fumbled the bag choosing that creature. But the slime owner proudly states her pet is a mutant with a special devar and evolve hack, making the blonde laugh, mocking that a basic slime peaks at growth level 3, only for the girl to clap back, revealing her little blob is already pushing Awakening level 5. Leaving the blue-haired roommate stressing over the massive waste of premium mats on a creature that will never make it past the transcendent tier. Standing on business, the pet owner plops the slime on the desk, ready to prove its worth right then and there, asking the blonde exactly how much cash she burned getting her steel wolf to level 9, guessing it easily crossed the 2 million mark, with the cocky blonde confirming her wolf is indeed sitting pretty at level 9. The slime owner drops rare mats worth 1,200,000 coins on the table, promising to show them what real power looks like, and the little slime speed runs devouring all the glowing materials without missing a beat, leaving both roommates utterly stunned seeing all those expensive resources get vacuumed up in seconds leaving 0 crumbs. With the girls watching closely, the slime starts spinning into a crazy powerful water vortex, and pulls off a wild evolution, jumping straight from level 5 to Awakening level 10, making the blue-haired roommate's jaw drop seeing a literal slime hit level 10. While the snobby blonde is also left totally shook, refusing to believe her own eyes. But the pet owner confidently tells them this is just the tutorial phase and they better keep watching, since the stat tracker shows the creature's potential just went through the roof, hitting at least the starry sky tier. Clenching her fists in rage, the blonde insists it's literally impossible for a scrub slime to have that kind of scaling, and challenges the pet owner to settle the beef in a 1v1 outside. Out in the courtyard, the blonde spawns her creature, ordering her steel wolf to go all out, revealing a huge, intimidating wolf glowing with heavy red energy, which rushes straight at the little slime to deliver a beatdown. But the slime tanks it and counters with a red water spear, a transcendent level skill that blasts the wolf head on, leaving the beast's owner trembling, completely clueless on how that evolution was even real. Dropping to her knees seeing her big bad steel wolf get completely washed that easily, the slime owner steps up feeling victorious, reminding her that this was the exact pet she was just trash talking, and adds that, just because they're roommates, she'll let this one slide and won't hold a grudge. Meanwhile, the blue-haired friend is chasing after her, desperate to know exactly where she bought that cracked slime. The next day, the hustle and bustle on the street outside the MC's shop is business as usual, when a red-haired guy walks in, casually mentioning he just opened up a rival pet shop nearby. He quickly spots the little dragon on the counter, thinking it's some rare breed that would make the perfect gift for his sister. Pointing at the critter, he asks the owner how much the beast costs, but the MC politely lets him know that it's his personal contracted beast and not for sale, even though the guy gets pushy, bragging that money is no object, and he can name his price. Keeping his cool, the MC firmly repeats that the creature is strictly off the market. Annoyed by the rejection, the guy warns him he's passing up a fat payday and is gonna regret it, spawning his giant bird and ordering his black, feathered crow to teach the shopkeeper a lesson. But the MC just mutters under his breath that this guy is an absolute clown, as the little dragon unleashes a terrifying, massive dark aura that instantly KOs the crow, sending the bird crashing to the floor in a pile of feathers, triggering a nasty energy backlash that makes the crow's owner cough up blood from the psychic damage, and he books it out of the store in pure panic, realizing his pet just got one shot by a single glare from the creature. Outside, the red-haired guy stumbles away terrified, wondering if that dark energy really came from a dragon, since not even the Lu family has a breed like that. Deciding the best move right now is to just get out of Dodge ASAP, while the MC watches the guy run for his life from inside the shop, and leans on the counter, sighing about how running a pet shop can be such a drag sometimes. Over at the affiliated hospital, the red-haired guy gets his medical checkup and complains that just one look from that monster slapped him with 5 million coins in medical bills. Stomping out of the hospital in a bad mood, he ends up bumping into someone and curses, asking what blind idiot just walked into him, only to realize the guy he bumped into is his older brother, the young master of the Luo family, who asks exactly who he's calling a bastard. Spooked, the redhead asks what his older bro is even doing here, and the brother replies he came to track down whoever embarrassed the Lu family like this. Panicking, the younger guy begs him to drop it, saying they don't have the stats to take this guy on. Surprised, the older brother asks if there's actually someone out there their family can't handle, and the redhead explains it's a tamer who somehow managed to contract a demonic dragon, leaving the older brother stunned hearing about a legendary species like that. Deep in thought, he mentions it's been ages since anyone heard of a tamer controlling a demonic dragon, and instantly orders his little bro to take him straight to this beast tamer, even though the younger one warns him that even he might get clapped. Smacking his little brother on the back of the head, the older guy explains they are going there to apologize, not to start a boss fight. Relieved, the redhead agrees, saying he knew his bro wouldn't be as dumb as him. While the older brother thinks about how almost all the tamers in the city belong to the Lu family, and they definitely wouldn't hide a dragon like that, suspecting this mystery tamer might have some deep-rooted history with the Lu clan. Pulling up to the shop, the younger guy points out that the tamer is inside. Seeing them walk in, the MC hits them with some sarcasm, asking if he brought backup because he couldn't win the 1v1. But the older brother forcibly pulls the redhead forward, making him step up, and makes his brother bow all the way to the floor, apologizing on behalf of the Luo family for the toxic behavior earlier. Carefully pulling out a red box, the young master offers the gift as a peace offering, hoping the MC will be cool and let the whole thing slide, revealing it's a Space Tamer crystal, which is a super high value platinum tier resource, making the MC low-key thrilled to see a platinum tier upgrade mat, wondering just how loaded this guy's family really is, especially since he was just stressing over how to upgrade his own tamer space. Taking the loot, the MC casually says it was just a minor misunderstanding and there's zero bad blood. Noticing his aura, the visitor points out that the MC just unlocked a new pet slot, and the guy confirms, saying he recently hit the fire-type starry sky level, unlocking his third summon slot. Catching the vibe, the MC points to a cage, saying it's actually crazy timing because he has a scarlet flame chicken that perfectly matches that talent, showing off a little yellow chick in a cage with a wild price tag of 3 million coins. Zooming in on the 3 million price slapped right on the little bird's cage. Trusting the shopkeeper's word, the young master agrees to buy the critter, no questions asked, even though the red-haired brother whispers that this seems like a massive waste of their funds. Catching the doubt, the MC asks if they think he's trying to scam them on purpose, and the buyer quickly backpedals, saying he just can't figure out why the shopkeeper would recommend such a basic bird. The MC explains he only suggested the pet because he respected the guy's genuine attitude, and drops the lore that this scarlet flame chicken can refine literally any type of fire to scale its own potential infinitely, leaving the young master absolutely floored by that drop of info. And he asks if the shopkeeper minds him running a quick test on the little guy, spawning an intense blue flame in his hand to see how the chick reacts. Right away, the young master is shocked to see the little bird isn't even fazed by his cold fire, and insanely enough, the tiny creature starts inhaling and devouring the blue flame right through the cage bars, revealing a majestic blue fire phoenix glowing super bright in the room, showing off the pet's true sleeper build, leaving the tamer totally mind blown, realizing this simple critter is basically a future Emperor of Flames. Seeing that, both brothers bow deeply in gratitude, promising the entire Luo family will remember the MC's massive favor. But the young master stays chill, saying it's just another pet from his shop and they don't need to be so dramatic. Taking the chance, the guy decides to ask if the MC has any ties to the overpowered Lu family, famous for their dragon tamers. The MC's face instantly drops the second he hears that name, and he coldly replies that he cut ties with those people a long time ago. Catching the heavy tone, the customer figures the guy must have some serious beef with his former relatives, and decides to politely dip out with his brother, while the shopkeeper tells them to take it easy. Alone in the shop, the MC grabs the platinum tier space tamer crystal, ready to test out its power, logging straight into his spiritual tamer space, where a blinding light flashes, expanding the zone to 100,000 square meters and bumping him up to transcendent level 1. Floating in the massive blue void, the guy thinks using such a rare crystal just to level up is a massive flex, and turns to his giant dragon, telling him it's finally his turn to get an evolution buff, making the beast roar like crazy as it gets engulfed in heavy red flames, until the system pops a notification confirming the dragon hit transcendent level 1, unlocking legendary skills, and waking up the dark dragon blood soul, showing the mythic beast looking way beefier and surrounded by a sick red aura, and the MC looks on super satisfied, promising that very soon the dragon will be snacking on actual dragons. A little while later, things are pretty chill outside the shop, showing the front of the famous mythic pet shop, where the MC is kicking back in his chair, chatting on the phone with the pink-haired customer while holding his little dragon, and she excitedly tells him her slime hit awakening level 10 and pushed its potential all the way to Starry Sky level 9. Adding that even manager Yang King shut down his own store just to grind levels for his skeleton, which totally surprises the MC. Meanwhile, over at a poultry farm, the sound of chickens running for their lives fills the air, revealing the manager proudly watching his little skeleton, which hit transcendent level 3 after spending 10 days straight wiping out birds, leaving the farm worker's mind blown by the guy's grinding speed, whispering that he deleted 100,000 chickens in just 2 days. Then the manager stands up and announces to the crew that today is his last day on the server, making them think he finally realized a transcendent tamer shouldn't be wasting his stats doing this. But he pulls out a massive blade with a dark look in his eyes and announces he's moving on to farm pigs now, flashing his VIP access card to the high-tier slaughterhouse where he plans to get an advanced certificate, daydreaming about all the high-level mobs he gets to take down in this new zone, and laughs like a maniac, plotting to level his skeleton straight to the top of the meta. Reading the text on his phone, the MC is seriously impressed by that manager's absolute sweat lord dedication, checking out the simulation of the insane evolution the skeleton could hit in the future, and takes a sip of water, thinking the guy's farming strat is actually super meta and could carry him to the top real fast. Seeing the chat continue with updates on the skeleton hitting transcendent level 3, the MC celebrates seeing his products doing so well, but quickly remembers he needs to pull in some new customers. Getting a text from the Luo family young master saying he's bringing his newly awakened sister over to pull a pet. Satisfied, the guy calmly sips his drink with the little dragon chilling in his lap, and tells his pet to hang tight, promising he'll expand the space soon so he can evolve even further, when the doors swing open as a new visitor walks in, making the shopkeeper stand up, happy to see the foot traffic picking up. But the customer, who introduces himself as a manager for the heavyweight Jiang family, looks around with serious side eye acting like this indie shop couldn't possibly have any premium loot. The MC politely explains that his business strictly deals in top-tier beasts, but the visitor gets triggered, thinking it's super cocky for such a tiny shop to act like it's elite, staring the guy down with major attitude. He demands the shopkeeper stop yapping and show him these so-called special creatures to see if they're actually worth the hype. Keeping his cool, the MC charges up a glowing energy in his hand and drops a cage on the counter holding a little green goblin, asking what he thinks of this pull. Seeing the creature, the guy completely loses it and slams the counter, accusing the MC of trying to scam him by passing off a trash mob as a high-tier pet. Claiming he was actually going to shout out the store to the prestigious Jiang family if there was anything decent here, and threatens to walk out, saying the shop will be bankrupt in less than 3 days, leaving the MC super annoyed with this guy's toxic energy, when suddenly, a red-haired girl rocking twin tails walks into the shop, followed by her older brother, which instantly spooks the cocky manager when he realizes some major VIPs just arrived. And he nervously asks if the heirs to the overpowered Liu family are really here to buy pets from this basic shop. Sweating buckets, he realizes this little store might actually be sponsored by the heavyweight family, and knows he's in deep trouble since his own family's business completely relies on the Liu clan's backing. Completely ignoring the guy's existence, the red-haired girl walks right past him, while her older brother respectfully bows, greeting the MC, and the girl checks the guy out, thinking the young manager looks super clean and stylish, leaving the arrogant guy totally shook seeing the hair treat the shop owner like an absolute boss. And the young master tells the visitor to shut his mouth immediately, since nobody gave him permission to speak. Dropping to his knees in a panic, the man realizes he just made a massive blunder that could ruin his whole career, while the hair-friendly introduces his little sister to the shopkeeper, who just gives a chill nod in response. But on the inside, the MC is stressing about needing to sell that goblin to secure the evolution mats for his demonic dragon. Noticing the guy looks stressed, the young master asks if he's worried because he didn't sell the pet earlier, and offers to buy the little goblin right on the spot without a second thought, surprising his sister, who asks why he'd buy the creature without even checking its stats first. But the brother stands on business, saying he 100% trusts the shopkeeper's meta reads, making the MC breathe a sigh of relief as he gets ready to drop the lore on the new pet's insane stats. The shopkeeper starts explaining that the goblin has a unique hack to stack strength and stats through reproduction, breaking it down that the stronger the original goblin gets, the higher the RNG chance of spawning offspring with totally busted stats. And the guy listens in awe, realizing this infinite loop could literally build an unbeatable army for his family, leaving the other family's manager in absolute despair, realizing he just passed on a legendary pet because he was a total noob. So the young master begs the MC to make the goblin an exclusive drop for his family, arguing that the big 3 tamer families only run the server because they monopolize the dragons, and that this goblin spawning hack is basically on par with those mythic beasts, guaranteeing his dynasty's rise to the top. The MC acts totally unbothered, saying he doesn't really care who buys the pet, but warns that the buyer needs to lock in the contract right now, asking if he already has a trusted player in mind. Hearing that, the girl imagines the weird visual of a cute girl teaming up with an ugly goblin and gets super grossed out. But her brother guarantees he's already picked the perfect candidate to take the creature, dropping the lore that it's the illegitimate heir of his late father, whose mom was secretly taken out. And because he saved the kid, the guy would never even think about betraying him. Listening to this heavy lore drop in silence, the arrogant visitor goes into full panic mode, realizing he just heard some classified state secrets, knowing that hearing this kind of tea means his life is seriously on the line. And the young master shoots a death glare right at the guy, who instantly fakes a meltdown, rubbing his eyes and screaming that he randomly went completely blind, keeping up the act by saying he can't hear anything either, while the young master quietly asks the MC if he should just delete him from the server, but decides to just give the guy a hard warning, saying this better be a wake-up call, threatening that if he hears even a single rumor, the guy's fate will be way worse than game over, making the man cover his own mouth and swear he's playing on mute from now on, while the MC watches the whole circus, thinking the trespasser sure acted fast to save his own skin. Getting back to business, the red-haired girl whines that her brother already claimed the goblin and asks what her pet is gonna be, impatiently demanding a creature that's just as OP. Her brother calms her down, saying the shopkeeper will definitely pull something way better and more her style, making the girl's eyes light up with hype, thinking about getting something even more busted. And the guy asks for the shopkeeper's help to find the ultimate duo partner for his little sister, revealing she rocks an A-tier ice soul talent and wants a creature of that element that can rival her brother's fire chicken, with the MC nodding to the request, and channeling a frosty blue energy to spawn the perfect pull, revealing a super cute ice fox sitting inside the cage, which makes the girl ask excitedly if this pet can also farm rare ice mats to evolve. The shopkeeper confirms she's smart and that the fox can absolutely absorb ice to scale its power infinitely, inviting the customer to run a test right on the spot. And when she brings her blue flame close, the ice fox easily starts soaking up the energy, refining the element and making its white fur glow even brighter and stronger. Mind blown by the results, the girl eagerly asks if the price is 10, 20, or even 100 million coins, ready to drop any amount. But the MC just gives a half smile and says the price hasn't changed, it's still 3 million coins. With her brother deeply thanking him for backing the Luo family, and confirming he already wired the full 6 million. And the guy says a friendly goodbye, when suddenly, his little dragon stands up on the counter and lets out a massive warning roar, grabbing everyone's attention to what's going down outside, where heavy winds and cracks start tearing up the sidewalk right in front of the shop, making the MC sense the stealthy presence of a giant dragon, and he smirks, realizing the Lu family finally ran out of patience. Over in a mega mansion surrounded by flawless gardens, a massive red dragon is just chilling on the grass, while its boss lady casually sips tea, waiting for her henchman to pull up, who gets orders to keep tracking young Lu Yu, and demands he find the hidden loot the kid's parents stashed away years ago, slamming her cup in a rage because she hasn't found a single clue after all this time. The lackey drops to his knees and announces he just scored some major intel on the kid, revealing the guy actually got his tamer talent back and even locked in a contract with a black dragon, leaving the woman absolutely horrified by the patch notes, raging out, unable to compute how someone who got their talent deleted could ever play as a tamer again. And surrounded by toxic energy, she orders that the kid needs to be permanently logged out, with the henchman nodding to the hit order. Back at the shop, the system assistant hypes up the MC for hitting the milestone of 5 pets sold, and announces he just scored a random max tier tamer talent as a reward, popping the holographic screen ready to claim the loot, making the MC super hyped about the RNG chance of pulling his second max tier talent, tapping the screen to confirm the drop, which unlocks the insanely busted talent called God, slaying celestial fire. But the energy burst is so violent, it literally forces the two siblings to their knees on the shop floor, with the guy sweating bullets, feeling that crushing pressure, and wondering if the shopkeeper just awakened a new fire ability, thinking there's no way a basic SS tier talent could ever output such an oppressive aura, while the MC is glowing in purple flames, completely confused why they randomly dropped to the floor, with the girl collapsed next to him, totally out of stamina to react, and her brother struggles to explain that their legs literally gave out from the lag spike of his pressure. Rushing to get up, he says it's getting late and he needs to get his sister out of there, even though the girl acts all pouty, wanting to hang around the young manager a bit longer. But her brother drags her out of the shop while she whines about it. Later that night, the shop's chill vibe gets totally wrecked when a massive green dragon crashes through the roof, while its tamer screams for the trash Lu Yu to come out and meet his maker. Catching the sketchy aggro, the MC notices the invader and mentions he picked the absolute worst route by trying to raid his base. And the enemy flies in riding his green dragon, acting all cocky, saying letting the kid live back then was his biggest misplay. But the MC stands his ground, stating he only survived and leveled up as a beast tamer just to get his payback. Facing off, the memories pull the guy right back to the massive Lu family mansion on a dark night, back when he was just a defenseless kid, begging on his knees for his uncle to save him from having his talent ripped out, with the toxic uncle treating the kid like garbage, shoving him away without a single ounce of pity. And the guy coldly states that getting his talent repossessed to buff the young master should be seen as a huge honor. Crying in panic, the kid screams desperately that he doesn't want to go through with it, only to get shoved again, tumbling hard onto the floor. While the stepmom watches the whole thing from her throne, and the uncle asks who gave the kid permission to try and log out early. On the floor, little Lu Yu tries to guard his talent, yelling that the power is his and nobody has the right to steal his loot. But the guy steps right next to his head, coldly reminding him he doesn't get a say in the patch notes, and the evil stepmom takes a sip of tea, chilly ordering them to speedrun the whole process. Smiling like an absolute psycho, the uncle confirms he got the memo, and pins the helpless kid down, who lets out a horrifying scream of pure agony. Begging for a carry, the kid desperately asks them to stop the griefing. But the guy keeps acting like a jerk, complaining that the kid's screaming is super annoying, with the screams of pain echoing through the estate as young Lu Yu gets wiped of everything he had. Snapping back to the present, Uncle Lu Heng glares at the MC, asking what's the point of getting his powers back anyway. And the MC fires back fearlessly, asking who the uncle thinks he is to challenge him repping a family he completely despises. Triggered by the disrespect, the guy rages at seeing a former noob talking so much trash, while the MC's little dragon growls fiercely, getting ready to throw down. But the invader just laughs, noticing the kid actually managed to contract a member of the dragon race, joking that the creature looks like it got forced into a sweatshop before it even hit max level, and confidently brags that the tiny dragon won't even survive a single hit from his wind beast. The raider then commands his Gale Dragon to unleash a massive hurricane attack, making the giant green beast blast a devastating wind breath straight at the target. Facing the incoming nuke, the MC literally just stands there AFK next to his tiny partner, until the wind blast hits them dead on, kicking up a massive dust cloud. And the arrogant guy celebrates, thinking there's no way an awakening level 10 beast could tank his DPS. But when the dust clears, the guy is mind blown seeing the MC's dragon hasn't taken a single point of damage. And the guy looks at him like he's pathetic, asking if that weak little breeze was his ultimate move, with the MC's eyes flashing a dangerous red color, while the little dragon starts radiating a crushing dark energy, letting the invader know he just queued up for his own funeral. And the creature lets out a massive roar, expanding its hitbox to a terrifying size, leaving the uncle absolutely shook, sweating buckets watching that crazy transformation. Even though he tries to cope by reminding himself his wind dragon is Starry Sky level 10 and can't possibly lose. Except the MC just roasts him, saying that Green Gecko isn't even big enough to be a snack for his legendary beast, and reaches out, activating the Dreaded Dragon domain, commanding with absolute authority for the skill to pop right then and there, which leaves the opponent shaking in terror, wondering how the kid unlocked such an endgame ability, knowing that casting a domain is a skill hard, locked to true pureblood dragons. And the MC smirks evilly, dropping the lore that his partner is actually from the demonic dragon species, explaining it's the legendary world, Destroyer demonic dragon that literally farms other dragons for XP. The massive shadow beast fires a devastating blast of black fire right at the enemy. Facing the absolute nuke, the uncle finally realizes he's completely cooked, as his wind dragon takes the black flames straight to the face and starts getting deleted by the energy, dropping out of the sky along with its tamer, who screams in absolute agony, and the giant green beast crashes hard into the ground, completely wrecking the pavement, leaving the invader wrecked on the floor, unable to process how he got zero death so fast as the MC walks up. Busted and bruised, the guy tries to crawl away, but the MC pins the uncle's hand to the ground, making him scream in pain, and casually asks how it feels to get stomped by the guy he used to call trash. He crushes the guy's hand, revealing he's been waiting for this exact moment since that tragic day. Crying in sheer terror, the man begs for mercy, asking to be spared for the sake of the care he supposedly gave him as a kid, but the MC just gives a villainous smile, totally mocking that so-called care, and yanks the uncle by the hair, forcing him to look straight ahead, ordering his demonic beast to finish the job, with the massive black dragon biting into the green creature's neck showing absolutely zero chill, and starts tearing the defeated opponent apart while the sounds of the raid echo down the block. Watching his partner get dismantled, the guy screams in despair seeing his beast get permanently deleted, and bows before the MC, begging on his knees for his life and swearing he'll do literally anything he's told. Looking down on him like absolute garbage, the MC asks if he really thinks he deserves a pass, and with a cold glare, tells him traitors can go regret their life choices in the Shadow Realm, while the giant black dragon sets up right above the downed player, delivering an overpowering final strike with its massive claws that permanently logs the invader out. Satisfied with the W, the MC hypes up his demonic dragon's performance, and a system pop-up appears, congratulating the guy for finally taking down his major family boss, dropping a super rare red star tier loot box, which spawns the legendary demonic heart, packed with the lore and wisdom of an ancient demon lord. And the system explains this item can be used to buff a shadow skill straight to the red star tier. The system assistant then drops the news that new perks just unlocked, revealing the MC now has 900 system points stacked up and can officially roll for his second pet. Hyped about the upgrade, the guy starts theory, crafting his next summon, and fires up purple flames in his hands, remembering his second active talent is literally God, slaying celestial fire. Locked in on his choice, the MC points at the screen, confirming the beast he wants to pull, and Speed taps the claim button to push the transaction through, ripping open a glowing purple energy vortex in the middle of the room, announcing the spawn of the purple flame bird emperor. Out pops a majestic bird with Holy Spirit class potential at level 10, currently sitting at Awakening level 1, flexing insane abilities on its stat sheet like Flame Spirit and Emperor's Blood. The MC is blown away by the heavy pressure coming off his new flying duo partner, saying this is exactly the kind of aura you expect from a Holy Spirit tier beast, knowing that even the country's main guardian dragon is only level 1 in that exact same ranking, and totally aware there are only 6 legendary beasts on the whole server in this ultimate category. The guy pets the bird, promising that once it levels up, it'll easily gap all the local legends, kicking off the summoning ritual to lock in the spiritual duo Q with his new ally. And the bird lets out a massive screech while the contract magic glows crazy bright around them. But the shopkeeper remembers a key detail and uses his skill to shrink the creature's hitbox. Plop the cute little bird on his shoulder, deciding this form is way more optimized for walking around. And the MC looks at his hands, knowing that with these 2 beasts, he's speedrunning his revenge quest against the Liu family. Catching his dragon acting salty in the back of the room, the MC realizes his first pet is getting major FOMO, and nicely asks his buddy to chill out and not be so toxic about the new bird joining the party, promising that as soon as he clears the last sale of the week, he'll dump all the resources into upgrading its legendary bloodline. While the tiny bird chilling on his shoulder lets out a sassy chirp right at the dragon, sparking a super intense staring contest between the 2 competitive little monsters, who just keep glaring at each other to establish dominance in the lobby, until the bird drops another mocking chirp, leaving the little dragon visibly tilted. But suddenly, a totally random feeling hits the shadow beast right in the feels, getting completely mesmerized and simping over how cute the little bird is, totally forgetting it was just raging a second ago. The MC watches the goofy scene, joking that aesthetics can literally disarm even the most hardcore dragon, and holds out the demonic heart, handing the rare drop over to his shadow dragon, explaining that eating this premium item will boost its level and put it super close to hitting the Holy Spirit class, getting the creature insanely hyped for the free stats. And the dragon just snaps up the crystal, swallowing the high-tier loot in one massive gulp, taking a bit of recoil damage as it tries to tank the insane amount of power flooding its system. Worried about his partner rushing it, the MC tells it to slow down because the item is packed with super heavy dark vibes, warning that eating it could give the creature a major spiritual debuff. Deciding to jump in and help his bro manage the massive lag spike of energy, the guy fires up his own magic, refining the power swirling around the monster, wrapping the dragon in glowing blue flames until the whole energy spike is totally stabilized. Cooling things down, he lets it know the process is done, and it can safely soak up the stats now. And the dragon roars happily, feeling its power completely synced up, with the system assistant popping up right after to hit the guy with a GG, happily announcing the item absorption was a total success, bumping up the beast's skill levels, showing that the new dark arts can now literally delete enemy souls and grant immunity to physical damage. Flexing its new stats, the little dragon tells the purple bird to put some respect on its name from now on, and nudges the MC affectionately, showing major gratitude for the carry. Acting all cute, begging for more of those delicious power hearts. But the shopkeeper just laughs it off, reminding it that was a super rare drop, not just some cheap counter snack. And the MC gets dressed up looking sharp, ready to take the next step in his business grind. Looking at the absolute mess left from the boss fight outside, the MC complains about the terrible cleanup he's gonna have to do, and grabs his phone, calling up the Luo family young master to ask for a carry with cleaning the sidewalk. Answering the call instantly, the guy pulls up with his crew and promises to handle the whole thing. But looking at the floor covered in green marks from the deleted dragon, the young master gets spooked, realizing just how much collateral damage the MC's fight caused. Kneeling down to check the logs, he recognizes the giant species' blood and the wind marks from the defeated player, and pieces together that the beast belonged to the Liu family, realizing the shopkeeper has major beef with the rival clan. Noticing the MC managed to completely wipe out such a heavyweight opponent in what was basically a rigged matchup, the young master orders his crew to scrub the whole zone immediately, leaving the street looking flawless, like the PvP match never even happened. Over at the massive, high-end mansion of the prestigious Luo family, the young master is greeted by a worker who frantically warns him about his little sister's raging temper, and the red-haired girl storms into the garden, screaming at her older brother, accusing him of hogging all the family's premium mats just to focus on breeding his new goblin, and complains non-stop, saying the RNG drop rate for those monsters is way too low and the investment is too risky. With endless patience, the brother explains that his special goblin has the hack to spawn an entire army of loyal minions, and confidently states this bloodline is going to be the hard carry for his leadership in the future. But the girl stays salty, arguing he shouldn't be leaving her ice fox without proper upgrades. The guy calms her down, dropping the news that he already ordered the absolute best mats to buff both the fox and his fire chicken. And the family assistant walks up carrying a super expensive gold box loaded with the requested gear, Running over totally hyped, the red-haired girl snatches the box, wanting to inspect the loot. Unboxing it with stars in her eyes, seeing the massive stack of shiny stones from her generous bro, and hugs the rare crystals, celebrating the fire and ice elements that will guarantee her next power spike. But her brother seriously drops the bomb that those premium materials are actually a special gift for the shopkeeper, making the girl rage out, realizing she's gonna have to play delivery girl without getting a single drop for herself. Standing in front of the cleaned up facade of the MC's famous mythic pet shop, the red-haired girl walks up holding the gift box and finally admits her older brother is actually playing 4D chess, realizing all the items inside are ultra rare loot that most tamers could only dream of gifting. Remembering her brother saying the shopkeeper was the sole reason he didn't end up hard, stuck at Overlord tier, and the young master secretly celebrates his chance to hit rank 1 on the tamer leaderboards thanks to the MC's coaching. Walking happily toward the shop, the girl figures that getting on the shopkeeper's good side might help her hit Overlord tier super fast too, and walks in, announcing she's here and hyping up the MC with a big greeting. Handing over the premium gold box, she explains the Crimson Heart Earthfire and the Purple Mystic Extreme Ice are a massive thank you from her family. Surprised by the flex, the MC says thanks, mentioning her brother already hard carried him yesterday. But the girl happily claps back, saying the meta tips he gave them were worth way more than any physical loot. And the shopkeeper thinks about it, wondering if his system monsters really do have that kind of broken effect. Deciding to take the drop, he says he definitely won't turn down the Luo family's generosity. Happy with the delivery, the girl says peace out, promising not to bother him anymore and telling him to hit them up whenever he needs anything. Cracking open the box right after, the MC grabs one of the glowing fire stones to check its stats, and notices the Crimson Heart Earthfire perfectly syncs with his Purple Flame Bird Emperor's kit, spawning his majestic purple bird, which pops out floating happily right next to him. The shopkeeper offers the fire crystal, inviting his little duo partner to test out the premium mat, and the bird gulps down the flaming stone, speed absorbing the energy and glowing with heavy purple flames, leaving the MC completely shook seeing the creature skip straight to an evolution without any lag, with the purple phoenix letting out a massive screech, flexing its wings and spreading fire all over the room. Right after, the system assistant hits the MC with a GG for his bird's insane power spike, jumping multiple levels at once, showing on the holographic screen that the beast unlocked a red star, tier ultimate skill for dropping massive owl flames. And the guy smugly thinks to himself that the premium gacha pulls really do gap the free to play ones by a mile. Meanwhile, in the massive halls of the Magic City's Beast Tamer University, the professor stands at the front of the class, dropping the hard truth that on this server, raw DPS is the only stat that matters. Flexing her title as a level 6 Dark Moon Tamer, she asks if any student thinks their build is actually cracked, and invites volunteers to step up to the stage to help her run a live combat tutorial, making a bunch of students eagerly raise their hands, wanting to flex their level 3 beasts gold tier skills. But the professor smirks, warning that the volunteer is going to have to survive a real hardcore PvP match, making the class sweat, and suddenly everyone points straight at two specific students chilling in the back. Spooked by the call out, the blue-haired girl asks if she seriously has to join the demo, while the guy next to her just crosses his arms, looking cocky and totally confident in his stats. With other classmates gossiping that the girl is top tier visually but her talent is strictly hard stuck on support, while the guy is famous for running a Furious Blade Warrior Wolf, a build maxed out entirely on pure DPS. Leaving the blue-haired girl stressing, knowing support pets literally have zero attack skills and will get washed instantly. Laughing at her panic, the red-haired friend thinks it's hilarious while the girl begs for a quick way out, and the pink-haired girl jokes that if she says something nice, she might just sub in and take the 1v1 for her. Instantly hugging her friend, the blue-haired girl begs, calling her the absolute most OP tamer in the whole dorm. Taking the bet, the redhead confidently stands up, saying this raid is gonna be a breeze, while the guys in the class start cheering like crazy seeing their crush step up to the stage instead. Walking up to the professor, the pink-haired girl explains her friend is a pure support main and asks to swap in for the duel, and the professor coolly accepts the sub without any complaints, asking the opponent if he's cool with the roster change, and he just shrugs it off, cockily claiming he'll secure the W no matter who tries to 1v1 him. Spawning her little blue slime, the girl leaves the guy completely speechless seeing such a basic mob enter the arena, making the rest of the class burst out laughing, commenting the slime is gonna get speedrun by the transcendent level 1 wolf. But the professor seriously asks if the student actually wants to run that build for the fight, and she confirms without hesitating, with the guy dropping a serious warning that in real PvP, the physical damage can leave permanent debuffs. telling her he is not paying the hospital bill if the slime gets wrecked, which triggers a bunch of guys to start white knighting for the girl, while others say she's just an aesthetic player with zero actual skill. Watching from the bleachers, the blue-haired girl tells the haters to stop sleeping on her friend's little monster, even though another classmate insists a basic slime is hard, capped at Awakening level 3 max. In the middle of the arena, the raid head tells her opponent she's about to teach him a major lesson about never underestimating a weird build. But the guy just scoffs, saying they can skip the cutscene and just fight, spawning his furious blade warrior wolf, which drops in duel, wielding swords and glowing with a heavy red aura, with the wolf getting into an aggressive stance, ready to dive in, while the little blue slime just floats there chillin', waiting for the timer to start. The screen flashes the official matchup between the two rival students, and the furry beast dashes forward, dropping an intimidating howl that echoes through the arena, spamming fast slash attacks with its blades straight at the little jelly monster. But the girl just smirks with total confidence, not stressing at all, ordering the slime to pop its blue water thread skill, which instantly roots the wolf's legs in place. CC'd by the magic, the warrior wolf tries to force its way through while the guy yells at it to go all out, cockily claiming that against a transcendent tier tamer, the girl's run is already over, and the wolf powers through the CC, managing to slice the water threads with its swords. Launching itself at the target, the beast preps to drop a massive aerial nuke on the slime, leaving the students amazed by the blue monster's dodge mechanics as it cleanly avoids the strike. And mid-air, the wolf gets completely caught off guard, wrapped up in an even heavier water chain, making the guy smile, thinking a basic water skill won't hold his beast down for long. But the crowd starts screaming when they notice the warrior wolf is actually taking heavy dot and spitting blood, revealing the water energy is literally suffocating the beast and draining its HP bar insanely fast. Dropping to the ground completely defeated, the wolf crashes with zero energy left right in front of everyone, leaving the guy totally stun-locked, watching his ultimate pet take the most humiliating L ever, and the redhead walks up, dropping a taunt, asking if he finally respects her slime stats. Dropping to his knees in pure despair, the guy can't process the fact that he just got clapped by a blue jelly. Holding his head, he takes the massive L while the girl just looks down at him like a total boss, and she walks back, dropping the quote that the tamer meta has infinite possibilities for everyone, quoting the MC about how even a slime can grind enough to solo a giant dragon, leaving the entire classroom in dead silence from pure shock, until the students totally lose it, cheering wildly and demanding to know exactly what farming strat the girl used. Rushing over to her friend, the blue-haired girl hypes up the epic W of the round, and hugs her tight, saying she knew 100% her bestie would secure the bag, with the redhead laughing it off, saying the matchup was actually a total joke, while the defeated guy tries to revive his downed warrior wolf on the arena floor, watching the two girls walk away, and decides to swallow his pride, humbly asking the blue-haired girl to drop a heel on his battered beast, apologizing for acting like a toxic tryhard earlier, and saying thanks for the medic support. But the red-haired girl crosses her arms, roasting him by saying her friend's heal spell is premium tier, and he's getting it on a massive discount. Keeping the peace, the blue-haired girl nicely says it's all good since they're all in the same guild anyway, spawning her moonlight butterfly to cast a glowing holy light heal, which wraps the warrior wolf in bright energy, magically speedrunning its HP recovery, leaving the guy mind blown by how fast the heal ticked, clearly proving the skill is in the gold tier. Walking up to the girls, the professor watches closely and asks if that creature is actually a supreme, potential white moon butterfly, with the mentor thinking hard, knowing that legendary bug was considered totally patched out of the game, and the student happily explains it's actually a moonlight butterfly that evolved from a basic green cotton caterpillar, leaving the professor absolutely floored by the miracle evolution, figuring some hidden top-tier dev is behind this. Ordering the girls to report to her office after class, the mentor walks away, and inside her office, she explains that the tamer world really does have some crazy Easter eggs with these small monster evolutions, with the blue-haired girl happily agreeing with her mentor's lore drop, who adds that none of this would be possible without an absolute god-tier cultivation guide, dropping the lore that hundreds of thousands of years ago, there was an ancient server entirely dedicated to breeding beasts, making the red-haired girl super curious to hear about this classic era of the planet. And the professor details that back then, players known as breeders could literally turn a basic eel into a giant dragon, making the blue-haired student raise an eyebrow, thinking that sounds like massive cap. Laughing at the reaction, the mentor tells them to pull up to her history lectures to learn more about the lore, and the redhead sighs, bummed that the breeder class got vaulted over time because it required insanely high stats. But her blue-haired friend suddenly connects the dots, wondering if the mystery shop owner is actually one of those legendary breeders. Catching the professor's attention, who asks exactly which shop owner they're talking about. And the redhead explains it's the manager of the mythic pet shop, where they scored the slime and the caterpillar that got buffed. Leaving the professor super intrigued and ready to run a solo raid on the shop to expose the hidden dev, while a luxury ride pulls up right outside the MC's famous spot. Stepping out of the ride looking flawless, a woman in heels preps to enter the zone, walking like she owns the place straight toward the pet shop doors, and adjusts her shades, verifying this is the exact coordinates her students dropped. Inside the shop, the MC checks the stats on his bird that just speed leveled, plotting to make it even more broken. When the professor pushes the door open, demanding to speak to the manager, getting instantly jump-scared by the tiny bird, which drops a terrifying, heavy dark aura across the room, leaving the VIP completely stunned, locked, terrified, and unable to input any movement commands, with the shopkeeper rushing in to chill his pet out, apologizing for the aggro since the bird hasn't mastered its new hitbox yet. Amazed by the flex, the woman asks if that heavy pressure was caused by an active talent, and introduces herself officially as an instructor from the Magic City's Beast Tamer University, recognizing the guy as the famous manager Lu she's heard so much hype about. Explaining that students Shen Nianian and Du Ruyan have been hyping his shop's drops, though the MC humbly plays it down, saying they aren't even his best units. But she locks eyes with him, asking point blank if his actual class is Beast Breeder. The shopkeeper repeats the title in his head, totally caught off guard, and confidently answers that if she wants to label him that, he's cool with taking the title. Checking his HUD, the MC notices the system just unlocked a breeding module, figuring the breeder tag will be massive for his marketing. Leaving the professor confused by the guy's cryptic vibe, since he didn't give a straight yes or no. Though she lets it slide, figuring a true pro would never leak their build to a random, and asks if he has any starter pets in stock that would fit perfectly into her 4th summon slot, with the shopkeeper doing a mental victory dance for securing another potential whale, nicely asking her to drop her build requirements first, and the professor explains she runs an A-tier dragon wings talent that buffs dragon stats, so she needs a pet with that specific bloodline. Curious, the MC asks what her connection is to the Lu family, one of the top 3 dragon taming clans on the server, leaving the VIP visibly shaken, completely losing her words after that question, giving her horrible flashbacks to when her dad treated her like a total noob for only rolling an A-tier talent, remembering the toxic moments of being called useless trash compared to the other clan members who pulled the rare S-tier. Snapping out of it, the woman snaps back, asking if she seriously has to drop her personal lore just to buy a pet. And the MC figures it's just another episode of Tickle High-tier family drama, politely replying that, unfortunately, he doesn't have any classic dragon blood starters in the shop, but grabs a glass jar off the counter, swearing he's got legit dragons right in there. Skeptical, the professor claims the big 3 clans hold a complete monopoly on those beasts and tells him to stop capping, with the MC showing off his tiny black dragon, stating his shop is 100% legit, since the basic breeds are literally just snacks for his shadow beast. And the customer is amazed, realizing the little black monster has a bloodline on par with a mythic god, asking to get a closer look at the jar the shopkeeper is holding, but gets super confused trying to spot a real dragon inside such a tiny container, only to see a basic little red fish just swimming in the glowing water, and she loses it, accusing the MC of trolling her by trying to pass off a common carp as a legendary dragon, angrily asking if the manager accidentally grabbed the wrong loot drop. But the shopkeeper stands on business, swearing he grabbed the exact right creature, with the customer pointing at the fish, reminding him you can buy those for 20 coins at any low-level market. Then the MC playfully asks if she's ever heard the classic lore of the fish leaping over the dragon gate, triggering the professor's memory about the ultimate evolution myth, where any water mob can transform into a mystic dragon, and the guy hypes up the instructor's high IQ, even though she argues that the legend got vaulted and the dragon gate itself has been missing for 100,000 years. But the MC drops a bombshell, revealing this tiny red carp can literally spawn its own sacred gate solo. Hearing the lore on the mystery fish, the professor thinks the whole pitch sounds like absolute nonsense, with the MC super chill, saying he never forces a sale, and suggesting she can go to a different shop if she wants, which makes her panic, and yell that she's buying the fish. Gripping the jar tight, she promises to lock in the deal no matter what. Kicking off the contract ritual with the little red carp, revealing it has the hidden hack to cross the legendary Dragon Gate and secure the divine bloodline. Sealing the duo bond, she hugs the jar feeling super relieved that the system legend was actually legit, and the woman celebrates big time for scoring such an insane unit for her roster. Bowing super respectfully, she apologizes for doubting the shopkeeper's credibility earlier, while the guy turns his back, dropping such a deep bow that it actually makes the shopkeeper feel super awkward about the dramatic scene. And the MC quickly looks away, pretending he didn't catch any of that. Fixing her posture, the professor asks if the manager could do her one more tiny solid, explaining she's got some backup clothes stashed in her car and asks him to speed, run and grab them. Sprinting out of the shop, the shopkeeper promises to bring the gear back in a flash, while picturing a worst-case scenario of himself getting arrested and cancelled on TV as a creep. Sighing in relief that he dodged that bullet, the MC thinks he timed his exit perfectly to avoid any heat with the mods, and pops the trunk, finding the bag of clothes he needed to fetch. Carrying the loot in a hurry, the MC sprints right back inside his base. A quick sec later, with the customer officially changed, the shopkeeper chills at his desk, taking the professor's genuine thanks for the assist with the new fit. And the guy plays it cool, asking if she's already crafted how to level up her red carp. The professor mentions her first 3 summons are rocking metal, water, and wind builds, deciding she wants to spec her newest water ally into a totally new elemental tree, and pulls a glowing purple crystal out of her bag, pitching the idea of using the lightning element for its training, dropping the energy stone straight into the tank where the little fish is swimming, which starts soaking up the electric power, sparking bright flashes all around it. And suddenly, a massive ancient gate spawns right in the middle of the room, proving the old legends were 100% real, spooking the little dragon on the MC's shoulder, making the tiny beast growl like crazy, with the guy calming his pet down, telling it to stop being toxic during the cutscene. Stressing out, the professor asks if the shadow dragon's aggro means her evolution is glitching, but the shopkeeper tells her to chill, instructing her to focus entirely on guiding her fish through the upgrade, which she nervously agrees to. Watching the epic electric gate pulse with crazy purple energy throughout the whole shop. Dropping a massive thunder sound effect, the sacred gate anchors itself in the center of the room. And the MC announces the structure is primed, and the fish will hit its evolution as soon as it clears the jump, giving her beast the green light. The professor orders the red carp to start the climb immediately, making the little fish leap out of the tank, wrapped in a protective water bubble shield. Floating high up, the creature starts making its way toward the top of the gate, swimming with pure focus inside the bubble as it gets closer to the energy barrier, taking heavy hits from the lightning strikes that start blasting the little mob. The professor panics seeing her pet's progress lag, terrified the evolution is going to fail. But the shopkeeper explains the portal was spawned by the fish's own talent, and since they're linked, she needs to pop her dragon buffs to give it the final boost. And the MC watches closely, realizing he totally slept on how strong the customer's dragon wings skill really was. Channeling all her mana, the professor fires a glowing beam straight at the carp, hyping it up to hold the line, boosting the creature with a massive magic buff that lights up the entire shop, and the little fish gets its stamina back, speed dashing right toward the objective, with the tamer screaming for her ally to smash through the barrier once and for all, clipping through the sacred gate under a heavy shower of purple and gold sparks. Glowing in golden flames, the creature officially clears the run with a flawless victory, and a magic aura wraps around the professor, making her feel like her own tamer talent is getting a massive patch update. The shopkeeper explains that because of their duo contract, the pet's successful evolution naturally buffed its master stats too, leaving the woman completely stunned, checking out the new upgrades to her own character model, as massive, scaly dragon wings spawn from her back, proving her combat rating just skyrocketed, revealing a gigantic crimson lightning dragon in the center of the room, roaring with major boss energy, flexing on its stat sheet that it's sitting at Transcendent level 9 with Monarch class potential at level 10. Blown away by the pull, the professor notes that while the beast is insane, it's technically tagged as a serpent class, not a Western dragon. But the MC clears the air, saying he runs a legit business, and that creature is totally a variant of the Eastern dragon tree, dropping the lore that the dragon clan is split into different factions, including the Western lizard builds and the Eastern serpent types, and guarantees that if she grinds it to the Overlord class, it'll unlock its true legendary dragon form, charging a friendly 5 million coins for the fish and the portal spawn, asking how she wants to settle the bill. Speed. Handing over her card, the professor decides to bail fast, terrified the shopkeeper might realize he underpriced it and jack up the cost, and says peace out, leaving the shop while the guy politely thanks her for the business. As soon as she's gone, the little dragon on the MC's shoulder drops a hyped roar with glowing eyes, and the guy asks if he wants to evolve too after watching the Dragon Gate cinematic. The system pulls up a hologram of the sacred dragon, explaining the gate's energy packed thousands of years of XP that just got soaked up by Lu Yu's pet, making the little monster roar furiously as its hitbox gets flooded with raw power. And the screen confirms the Shadow Dragon just ranked up to Starry Sky Level 1, unlocking the Red Star tier Sacred Dragon talent. The MC celebrates his duo partner's absolute massive W. Later that night, the professor's mega mansion looks super aesthetic under the moonlight in a totally chill zone. Kicking back on her couch, the professor thinks about the wild RNG day she had, pulling a legit Eastern dragon from some indie shop. When she hears footsteps pulling up and wonders who could be dropping by her base this late. Finding her old mentor in a trench coat, she asks what's up with the surprise visit. The old man gives a friendly smile, asking if he interrupted his former student's AFK time. And she quickly says no, inviting the veteran straight into her lobby. Sitting down to chat, the mentor asks how her first lecture went in the new university season, with the woman saying it was a totally flawless run, and drops the news that she found 2 prodigy players that absolutely need his attention. Hooked, the old man asks for the patch notes on these special students, and she explains it's Shen Nyanian and Du Ruyan, who are running pets with ultra, rare scaling hacks and infinite potential. Leaving the veteran master completely shook, hearing about beasts with such broken evolution, trees running around the campus. The old master drops the lore that any tamer who locks in a contract with a beast that cracked is basically guaranteed to become a server admin in the future. Right then, the professor spills the tea that she also pulled a pet from that exact same shop, revealing it was just a basic carp that speed leveled into a monarch tier boss. Shook by the update, the master's eyes go wide and he actually yells out loud. Then he grabs the woman's arm, urgently demanding she spawn the monster immediately. Obeying the command, the professor summons her overpowered purple lightning gale dragon, which drops into the living room looking like an absolute unit. Staring at the beast floating in the air covered in glowing flames, the old man is completely mesmerized by its massive power level. He mutters that this is a dragon build that got vaulted from this server ages ago, unable to believe the contract is real. The old man asks if every single one of these broken, high-tier creatures was really bought from that same random indie shop. Nodding yes, the professor adds that the prices are suspiciously low, and the shopkeeper must be running some 5D chess strat. Deep in thought, the master says it's hard to believe an NPC with stats that crazy actually exists. Then he wonders if, in the current meta, they're finally witnessing the spawn of a tamer with a triple S tier talent. Sighing, the old man points out that currently, there's literally 0 players with that kind of broken scaling on the server. But he drops the heavy lore that the ancient tamer civilization from the previous era got completely wiped out at the hands of a being with that exact triple S tier power. Staring off into the distance, the master theorizes that if a prodigy on that level spawns again, it's a coin toss whether it's a massive buff for the server or a total wipe. Stressing out, the professor stays quiet with a sweat drop on her face, debating if she should leak the truth about the shop owner's real stats. Fearing the worst, the mentor warns that if the government treats the kid like a raid boss and tries to nerf him, the backlash will be an absolute disaster. She smartly suggests the master should send the university's most trusted tamers to buy pets from the shop instead. Looking confident, the professor explains this strat works perfectly to build high rep with him, while also scouting his true in-game goals. The old master agrees with the big brain play and decides the best route is to follow her exact walkthrough. The next day, the camera pans back to the sunny street right outside the MC's legendary pet shop. Inside the base, a holographic system message pops up, hitting the guy with a GG for securing his first official commercial property. Checking his phone screen, the MC celebrates, super hyped that buying the shop was basically a speedrun with all the gold he farmed. He calls up the building's landlord, saying he wants to buy the spot outright for 17 million coins. On the other end, the greedy, overweight landlord refuses to finalize the deal over comms and insists on negotiating the price IRL. A sec later, the shopkeeper mutters to himself that the current market value for the spot is 15 million max, meaning his offer was already a massive overpay. Meanwhile, the greedy landlord stares at his phone, plotting that since the kid is acting so desperate, he can easily squeeze him for way more loot. He waves his hand dismissively at the kid's rush, and tells the guy to just wait in the lobby until he pulls up. Hanging up, the MC complains that this guy is an absolute loot goblin who only cares about farming gold. Just then, the doors slide open and 2 stylish guys rocking matching blue bandanas casually stroll into the zone. Checking the place out, the blonde bro mentions to his brother that the chords their grandpa dropped seem kinda basic and low tier. The gray-haired brother claps back, saying a true hidden dev would never care about the base's aesthetics. Spotting the new players, the MC walks up with a friendly vibe and asks if the duo needs help with a quest. The blonde shoots straight, explaining they're here to pull some pet starters and tells him to fetch the manager. With a smirk, The guy jokes that he's actually the manager and the owner of the server. Both brothers look stunned seeing an admin this young, fully expecting to meet some veteran NPC. Then the blonde flexes that they're the grandsons of the actual Tamer University dean, and their inherited talents are super rare drops. Hooked on the lore, the MC leans on the counter and asks them to drop their stat sheets. While the gray-haired guy reveals he runs a B-tier accelerated growth talent, the blonde brags about having a B-tier destruction build. Thinking it over, the MC crosses his arms, realizing that the accelerated growth buff is the absolute perfect meta for running massive mob armies. And the blonde nods hype, saying he heard Tamers who main swarm tactics can completely wipe any raid boss. He daydreams out loud about his future OP beast, picturing a giant tiger with crazy burst damage to one-shot enemies. While the gray-haired bro admits he shares the same endgame goal, but unfortunately RNG hasn't blessed them with the right starter yet. Smiling at the perfect setup, the MC drops 2 massive empty glass jars onto the counter. He gestures like a showman, telling the 2 bras to take a super close look at what's inside. The blonde leans in confused, pressing his face against the glass, completely unable to spot a single pixel in there. Skeptical, the blue bandana bro asks where these supposed elite mob spawning starters are. The blonde points at the empty jars, asking if this is just some massive troll move by the shopkeeper. Tapping the glass, the MC calmly swears the creatures are 100% loaded inside the container. Both visitors squint hard, trying to spot any sign of a hitbox. Suddenly, a tiny pinkant renders at the bottom of the glass jar. Massively disappointed by the reveal, they rage, asking if 2 basic ants are really supposed to be their elite endgame pets. The MC smiles, explaining that those ants actually unlocked a super rare, unique growth hack. He pulls up a hologram of 2 glowing ants, breaking down that as long as they get the right commands, they can literally morph into any class. Displaying a magic text tree on his hand, the shopkeeper promises he's already mapped out the absolute best evolution paths for them to grind. The second they touch the ant's energy, the 2 brothers get hit by a massive shockwave of power surging through their hands. The blonde guy is mind blown, discovering his ant can scale into a queen that spawns divine tier troops, while the gray-haired bro celebrates, seeing his creature has the potential to turn into a titan class boss that can rip the sky in half. Totally sold on the pet's stats, the 2 guys massively thank the manager for plugging them with such cracked creatures. And the MC gives a friendly nod, wishing them a GG on their grind, knowing those little ants are going to be absolute carry partners. Left alone in the shop, the guy thinks about how the factions he's currently boosting will completely shift the global meta very soon. Suddenly, the loud ringing of his phone on the counter completely kills the chill vibe. The MC quickly grabs the device, answering the comms with a deadpan look. On the other end, the overweight landlord cockily announces he's parked right outside and orders the kid to come out and greet him. In response, the shopkeeper flat out states he's inside the zone, and the guy can just walk in without the extra cutscenes. Triggered by the kid's chill attitude, the man yells, asking if the kid forgot who actually runs this server. Completely out of patience for the lag, the MC firmly says he's not repeating the invite, telling him to walk in if he wants to clear the transaction. At that, the overweight man stumps into the shop, complaining loudly as he ends the call. He glares at the kid with pure rage, trashing him by bringing up that he's just a failed student who doesn't even have a tamer talent. Acting super toxic, the landlord takes a heavy step, stomping the floor of the shop's lobby. Waving his arms like a total boss, he declares that to buy this commercial spot, the MC is going to have to drop an absolutely absurd amount of gold. The man arrogantly sets the buy-up price at 30 million coins, refusing to negotiate a single cent. Hearing that scam of a price, the blonde guy rages, screaming and calling the landlord a greedy loot goblin for charging double the market value. Crossing his arms with a smug look, the overweight guy claps back that since he holds the deed, he can set the price tag as high as he wants. Smiling like a villain, he tells the MC to just log out and leave if his wallet can't handle the microtransaction. Furious at the landlord's toxic disrespect, the blonde guy steps up, yelling and asking who gave this NPC permission to talk so much trash. Stressed about the drama, the gray-haired guy offers to handle the griefer, promising the MC doesn't need to dirty his hands on such a low-tier mob. But the MC calmly asks them to keep the comms quiet, so they don't catch aggro from the neighbors on the block. Agreeing to the request, the young guy turns to the door and calls in his personal tank. Across the counter, the overweight landlord crosses his arms confidently, claiming no one on this street has the stats to beat him in a PvP fight. When suddenly, a massive bodyguard in a suit spawns right behind him, instantly pinning the guy, leaving him completely terrified. And the guard seriously asks if this is the scrub who dared to disrespect his young master, asking the kid how they should deal with the trespasser. Coldly, The gray-haired guy orders the guard to teach the man a hardcore lesson so he learns some basic server etiquette. The giant bodyguard confirms he'll execute the command immediately. Panicking, the overweight man tries to break the grapple, screaming that he has high-level guild mates and they're gonna regret this. The blonde brother laughs out loud, sarcastically asking if his guild mates are actually stronger than the heavyweight Duan family. Hearing the clan's name, the man starts sweating bullets in pure terror, recognizing the Tamer dynasty that literally controls the weather in the country. With the gray-haired guy seriously confirming that his read on the situation is 100% accurate, and orders the guard to drag the guy out of the shop to settle the score outside. Crying in absolute fear, the landlord begs for mercy while getting dragged away from the zone with zero chance of breaking the CC. Then the gray-haired guy promises the MC they'll handle all the admin paperwork so he can claim the shop without any annoying side quests. Feeling his phone vibrate in his pocket, the MC pulls it out to check the new notification and reads a text saying that after a friendly chat, the old landlord agreed to transfer the shop's deed totally free of charge. Right then, the system assistant floats in looking hyped, hitting the guy with a GG for unlocking his first official base, dropping a premium reward called the Mystic Realm Crystal Core, which she explains is the most overpowered item on the server, capable of merging with a tamer space to spawn an entirely new dimension. Hyped about the drop, the MC celebrates, knowing that having a personal dimension basically boosts a tamer's stats to admin level, and gets the tutorial from the assistant on how to refine the crystal to expand his spiritual zone, kicking off a massive storm of energy and thunder that violently shakes the young guy's entire mental lobby, until a blinding white flash wipes the screen, revealing the insane mappa update of the zone. Floating in the air, the MC can feel the massive buff in mana that now fills his whole mystic territory, which has transformed into a gorgeous green field packed with trees and wild flowers, where his giant black dragon spawns, dropping an epic roar across the grass. And the system confirms the demonic beast just hit a massive power spike, jumping straight to Starry Sky level 3, with the purple bird also hovering in the sky, glowing with purple fire as it hits Starry Sky level 2, revealing both beasts just unlocked brand new red star tier ultimate abilities for the guy's loadout. The UI details that the dragon unlocked the realm projection skill, letting it CC enemies using pure shadow type energy. Getting the shopkeeper super hyped seeing the insane burst damage potential his demonic partner is gonna have in the endgame, and he checks out his purple phoenix's new tech, called Celestial Flame Pilgrimage. Satisfied, he notes that the purple fire raining from the sky has the same DPS as the most banned destructive spells on the server. Back in the real-world shop, the MC keeps his beasts in their compact hitboxes while waiting for new players to drop in, when suddenly, his eyes narrow as he catches a mystery player entering his radar. Watching a heavy shadow stop right outside the front door, and the old university master casually walks into the base, leaning on his walking stick. Recalling his purple bird, the MC greets the visitor, politely asking what brings him to the shop, figuring that since he sent his grandson earlier, the old dean should be tagged as an ally, not a hostile mob. But internally wonders what the actual main quest is behind this surprise visit, while the master studies him, amazed that the shopkeeper's eyes hold a dark intent scarier than any demon raid boss. Even though he notes the kid's outward vibe is super polite and friendly, not throwing any red flags. Concluding the young guy is actually an unreadable top-tier dev who needs to be kept on the country's friend list at all costs. And the old man reveals he has a massive main story quest to discuss privately with the MC, who jokes, asking if he's here to pull a pet too. With a tired look, the old man explains that after years of hardcore grinding, his tamer space got completely corrupted, locking him out of any new contracts. But the shopkeeper casually claps back, asking what noob spread the rumor that a broken space means you can't link with beasts. Surprised, the master mentions that's basically considered canon lore, taught in every tutorial on the server, and asks hopefully if the MC actually knows a cheat code to fix the glitch. The shopkeeper confidently confirms that patching a broken space is basically a tutorial level fix, channeling a bright blue energy in the palm of his hand to spawn the exact right item, and reaches out, handing over a glass jar so the master can inspect the loot, leaving the old man totally stunned when he sees the mystery item glowing in his hands, revealing it's the seed of a lush tree, which is one of the most basic plant element mobs in the game, with the MC smiling and explaining that this seed has a super rare passive to hardcode evolution paths right into its DNA, and pulls up a holographic UI, breaking down the exact evolution route he mapped out specifically for the master, revealing the tiny sprout can scale into the legendary void, suppressing giant tree, promising that once it hits that final form, the tree will completely patch and stabilize the old man's corrupted spiritual space. and the guy guarantees that all his stress about being locked out of the tamer class will be deleted forever. Clearly moved, the master deeply thanks the shopkeeper for the carry, but sadly declines the premium gift. The old master explains with heavy lore that he has absolutely zero plans to ever contract another beast on this playthrough, leaving the MC super confused, not getting why anyone would pass up such a god. Teardrop, and the guy whines a bit, complaining that he put in all this effort to theory, craft the Void Trees build just to get rejected. But the master drops the tragic backstory, revealing that over the decades, he sent 9 of his duo partners into the worst raid zones on the server, prioritizing the country's safety over their HP bars and size, saying it would be way too toxic to force another creature to join his party after throwing so many runs, suggesting that a seed with such crack stats deserves to be looted by a young, active player. Staying quiet, the shopkeeper respects the heavy lore, thinking he'd normally boot a salty customer, but he just can't bring himself to be toxic to the dean. And the old man looks back with regret at all the massive sacrifices the country had to make to avoid getting totally wiped in the early patches. Flashing back to decades ago when the dimensional portals first spawned, and the country, being the lowest level on the server, took the absolute worst of the aggro, showing the wrecked PvP zones where 9 emergency defense lines were thrown together to try and block the mob spawns, with the frontline barriers getting completely smashed one by one, in under 3 years of hardcore raiding, forcing every single tamer in the region to queue up for the frontline, just to prevent a server wipe. Revealing the young Dean stepping up as the main raid leader during the absolute peak of the crisis, who locked in contracts with 9 Overlord-class beasts just to hold the line in the ultimate deathmatch arena. And all 9 of those legendary summons ended up getting permanently deleted in those brutal fights, leaving the old man's spiritual space completely corrupted after tanking the backlash of 9 broken contracts in a row. The master explains during his sad lore drop that none of his beasts could survive the Doti inside a totally corrupted and glitchy spiritual space, revealing his very last duo partner had to be permanently docked at the university base, just to avoid catching the same tragic debuff. With the MC watching, feeling totally bad for the guy, thinking he can't just let a high-rep veteran stay stuck in this massive depression arch. And the kid tries to talk him down, telling the master he shouldn't beat himself up over the brutal RNG calls he had to make on the front lines. The old man sighs, lamenting that the cross-server battlefield is a total nightmare zone, where he just got lucky enough to survive and reach his current rank, while tons of his old guild mates who sacrificed their accounts got totally forgotten by the player base. Gripping the jar, the shopkeeper states with absolute certainty that the master's regret boils down to one single skill issue, with the old man looking curious, asking what that massive reason could be, and the MC drops the truth bomb, bluntly saying the master simply doesn't have the stats, explaining that if he had a totally broken build that made the enemy mobs rage, quit in fear, the country would never have had to sacrifice so many players. Thinking it over, the old man validates the take, remembering that with his A-tier talent capped at Overlord level 10, his skill tree is officially maxed out. But the shopkeeper excitedly reveals that if he plants the loose tree in his base, breaking the level cap will basically be a tutorial level task, explaining the tree has a hack that farms mana directly from the void to endlessly expand his spiritual map, making the master's eyes go wide, realizing that with this buff, he could finally have the stats to carry the whole server, humbly admitting that his boomer brain just couldn't theory craft on the same big brain level as the young manager. Ready to follow the shopkeeper's guide, the old master asks for the price tag on the loose tree seed so they can finalize the trade, and the MC casually drops the price, saying it'll be a flat 3 million coins. Right then, the system assistant pops up on the HUD, hitting the guy with a GG for clearing the milestone of 10 total sales, unlocking a max tier premium reward, the legendary Divine Spring of Life skill, which she explains is the ultimate life element ultimate, capable of clearing any debuff, healing all damage, or even reviving a deleted mob. Saying thanks for the carry, the master promises to follow the shopkeeper's walkthrough, evolving the seed first before officially locking in the contract, dropping the jar with the little sprout right onto the shop's counter, and holds his hand out, channeling his mana to kick off the evolution animation, firing off a massive blast of bright green magic that completely takes over the lobby, routing the power straight into his tamer zone, which looks like a floating rock platform, where glowing green plant pixels start raining down on the dry, glitchy terrain, making the seed drill into the ground and pop a massive healing glow, spawning giant, tanky vines that speed grow across the broken map, revealing a colossal overlord, class level 10 loose tree that towers over everything, lighting up the whole spiritual space. And the master opens his eyes, totally amazed at seeing such a fast and flawless evolution run. Placing his hand on the glowing magic circle, the old man boots up the contract ritual with the giant tree, making the vines connect straight to his avatar, locking in the spiritual link, and the bright green light wraps around the master's soul, scrubbing all the corrupted data from the zone, triggering a massive screen shake as the glitches in his broken tamer space start patching themselves up, merging perfectly under the plant's heavy roots, leaving the old man super emotional, realizing his spiritual map just got completely restored by a literal miracle, with the MC dropping a GG for the successful contract, telling the client he can log out of his mental space now. Back in the shop lobby, the old man urgently calls out to the kid, asking him to hold up a sec. And the shopkeeper turns around curious, asking if there's any other side quest he needs help with the master asking straight up if the kid has any interest in joining the roster at the Magic City's Beast Tamer University. Pulling up the MC's profile, remembering that just 2 months ago he was a failed student, but now he's getting a VIP invite from the dean himself. Appreciating the offer, the shopkeeper politely declines, saying the school is cool, but it's just not in his current playthrough plans. Explaining simply that his shop is already printing money, and going back to the academy would totally ruin his grind. Smiling, the old man clarifies that the kid totally misread the invite. He's not asking him to enroll as a student, but to take a slot as an official professor, leaving the MC completely stunned, locked by the pitch, while the dean suggests he starts out as a tutor until the admin paperwork clears. And the shopkeeper panics a bit, remembering the professor tag is an endgame achievement locked strictly for Overlord class players. The master keeps pushing the pitch, suggesting that if the kid says no, he'll hit up the admins to fast-track him for the vice dean slot, or even threatens to early retire his own account just to hand the guild leader spot over to the MC. Weighing the stats, the shopkeeper thinks it'd be massive cap to say he isn't tempted, but he stresses over the daily quests that come with the role. Though he realizes having the official professor tag at the server's top university would be insane free marketing for his pet shop. Deciding to accept the deal, as long as the lecture schedule doesn't overlap with his store's business hours, leaving the dean super hyped about the highs, guaranteeing there won't be any scheduling conflicts. And the old man adds that with the professor tag, the MC gets full access to request research grants straight from the devs, making the shopkeeper daydream about absolutely broken amounts of gold coins that could easily hit the hundreds of millions. Picturing his avatar happily rolling around on a giant mountain of gold thanks to the university's salary and loot drops. Plus, he celebrates getting VIP access to the library's rare skill manuals and the school's hidden instances. The MC thinks deeply about the crazy RNG of his run, going from a failed noob to an elite tutor. In the night sky, the epic front gate of the Magic City's Tamer University looks aesthetic under the darkness, with the professor chilling on her balcony, wondering how her mentor's meeting with the mystery manager played out, when suddenly, she spots a massive green laser cutting through the sky right near the campus, and gets totally spooked, recognizing that insane glow as the spawn animation of a legendary beast evolution. Sprinting across the courtyard, the blonde guy finds his gray-haired bro kneeling on the ground charging up a green spell. And the gray-haired guy points his glowing finger at his little queen ant, explaining he's booting up the spirit fusion process with his pet, flexing that this merge will massively boost their XP gain on the tamer skill tree. Stressing out, the younger bro warns that doing this fusion completely locks his account from ever contracting another mob, and if the ant gets deleted, his whole run is over. But the gray-haired guy stands on business, saying he doesn't care about the debuffs as long as he hits his endgame DPS goal. Watching from afar, the professor is seriously impressed by the absolute sweat lord dedication from a guy who usually plays it so chill, and internally drops a commend, deciding the kid is definitely worthy of carrying the dean's bloodline, when she hears her mentor's happy voice approaching and runs over worried, telling him to walk slow because of his low HP. Bumping into the old man, she's completely stunned, locked to see his spiritual aura is back to 100%. With the master happily confirming the patch was a success, challenging the professor to guess what strat the shopkeeper used, and the woman guesses the MC must have dropped some legendary consumable to heal the mental corruption. But the old man laughs, dropping the reveal that the cheat code was actually a duo contract with a mystic tree, pulling up a hologram of the colossal lush tree that completely restored his spiritual map, explaining it's a void, suppressing giant tree that patched his mental glitches and will boost his stats right back to rank 1. And the dean hypes it up, guaranteeing his overlord class lifespan is now locked at 500 years, meaning he gets to play for another 300 years, all thanks to the MC. Hearing the dean's massive W, the professor celebrates, super hyped her recommendation was a total success. And the old man tells the young bros he just invited the shop manager to be a tutor at the university, meaning they're all officially in the same guild now, leaving the professor shook but super hyped about the chance to co-op with the hidden dev, with the brothers popping off, demanding to be the absolute first players to queue up for the shopkeeper's training lobbies. Back at the base, the MC is sitting in AFK meditation right next to his 2 overpowered battle pets. Checking his skill tree, the guy realizes he's sitting on 3 max tier talents, and that just using them as passive buffs for his pets is a massive waste of stats. And figures the big brain play is to copy the high elo tamers and literally fuse his talents directly with the matching mobs. Theory crafting fusing his demonic dragon with the dark inferno buff to morph it into the absolute undisputed raid boss of the shadows, and plans to merge his fire phoenix with the celestial flames so it can slowly unlock actual god tier DPS. But realizes his third talent is just sitting there without a matching mom, deciding it's time to roll the gacha for a new duo partner. Opening the system UI, he notices he's farmed up 1,200 reward points from all his recent flips, and gets super hyped, knowing this stack of points will let him pull a starter even more broken than the last ones. Deciding to lock in a plant-type beast that perfectly synergizes with his life talent and will help stabilize his spiritual map. With the system assistant pulling up the shop catalog, displaying all the plant mobs available for that price, showing a list of supreme pulls like the Elf Mother Tree, the Sacred Star, the Giant War Tree, and the Ancient Tree of Life, all priced at 1,200 points. Reading the Elf Mother's patch notes, the MC sees it's a Holy Spirit level 3 with the hack to spawn an entire guild of loyal elves. But the guy figures the elf meta has fallen off hard and the resource sink wouldn't give a good ROI. Next up is the Sacred Star, also Holy Spirit level 3, which can literally terraform entire planets, but he thinks that's totally useless for his current playthrough. Then he checks the War Tree, which spawns combat minions designed purely for massive PvP wars. The MC skips that one, scoffing that such an aggro strat completely ruins his chill merchant aesthetic, and locks his sights on the Ancient Tree of Life, which has flawless synergy with his life element talent. Noticing that just having this beast in the lobby blocks all aggro and floods the whole zone with pure HP regen. Convinced this is the absolute god roll for his third talent, he taps the screen, confirming the purchase instantly. With the assistant announcing the transaction cleared, deducting the 1,200 points from his account, and a glowing green seed spawns in midair, radiating an insanely rich and heavy vitality aura. The shopkeeper decides to pull up the stat sheet for his new teammate. Checking the HUD, he sees it's a plant, type seeded Awakening level 1, rocking Holy Spirit level 3 potential, detailing the pet's talent to spawn 100% loyal minions whose stats scale directly with its own power, and shows off its first active skill, which lets it speedrun the growth of any plant in just a few seconds. Leaving the MC mind blown, realizing he can spam this magic to farm ultra, rare spiritual fruits and easily print tens of millions of coins with zero effort. Daydreaming about the infinite loot glitch, the shopkeeper gets hyped over his new passive income strat. Then he checks its second skill, which drops a massive AoE healing ward that clears all debuffs and maxes out ally HP. Also noting its third tech, which allows the tree to spawn a fully statted combat clone outside of his spiritual map, with the MC finally checking the ultimate skill, ominously named Star Reaping Grass, which sounds like an absolute nuke. Reading the lore that the skill lets him cultivate a legendary plant capable of slicing planets in half if it gets the right build. Super hyped, the guy celebrates the absolutely busted stats of a creature that only cost 1,200 points, commenting that the beast has the perfect Trinity build support, DPS, and insane loot farming. Reaching his hand out, he boots up the contract ritual to officially lock in the duo queue, and the seed starts soaking up the glowing magic, merging completely with the shopkeeper's summon circle, speed growing instantly into an epic, massive tree covered in glowing green leaves. The MC lets out a gasp as the energy shockwave hits his avatar, realizing that right after hitting Starry Sky level 10, his character model is already primed to break the level cap again, when a super sweet voice whispers from inside the glowing leaves, calling him master, and a burst of green wind wraps around the trunk in a totally aesthetic cutscene, revealing a beautiful girl with white hair and a green dress, floating gracefully right in front of the shopkeeper. Mind blown by the spawn, the MC wonders if this girl is the human combat clone generated by his life tree, and the UI confirms the girl shares all the main pet skills and can fast travel between dimensions whenever she wants. Holding his hand out, the guy asks if she really is the physical avatar of his plant beast, with the girl happily nodding and rushing straight toward her tamer. And she hits him with a hug, smiling and asking him to set her username to an U from now on. The shopkeeper friendly repeats the name, accepting his new partner's rebrand, when the girl acts super cute, asking him to hold out his index finger, tapping the tip of the guy's finger to spawn a tiny green energy thread linking their two souls. and drops the lore that she'll use this mini connection as a backup save file to revive her master if he ever hits 0 HP in a boss fight. Leaving the MC completely shook to discover she's literally holding a revive item, though she warns him she won't be able to recover his 3 max tier talents, nervously warning that if he responds, his account will basically get reset to a basic tamer with no OP buffs. Thinking it over, the guy seriously says he'd rather not respawn at all if it means losing his 3 ultimate powers. But then he smiles and pats the girl on the head, saying it's awesome to have the extra life anyway, and tells his duo partner to log off and rest so she can adjust to her new stats, promising to buy her some rare plant seeds to farm tomorrow, leaving the girl extremely hyped, with her eyes shining, just from getting a quest from her master. Saying peace to his ally, the MC mentions he needs to AFK and head back to the shop's bedroom, when suddenly he feels the girl grab his sleeve, blocking him from leaving the zone, and she gives him the puppy dog eyes, begging to leave her main body in the spiritual base while her clone stays linked to him in the real world 24/7. The shopkeeper agrees instantly, remembering that since she's merged with his space, she has admin privileges to drop in and out whenever. Super thankful, the girl celebrates, mentioning her living habits are a little quirky, and she was terrified he'd hit her with a ban, leaving the MC super confused, having zero clue what she actually meant by her weird habits. During the night, the guy is completely AFK, sleeping peacefully under his warm covers, when he feels a glitchy movement on the bed and realizes the girl just spawned right next to him, totally jump, scaring him, and he stares at her frozen, finally understanding what she meant by her weird living habits. Hugging the guy like she's super touch-starved, the girl drops the lore that she spent tens of millions of years completely solo, in seed form, and Mistco, I'll play so much, begging with tears in her eyes for him not to kick her from the party, promising she'll play stealthy and behave. Moved by the sad backstory, the MC strokes her hair, swearing she'll never have to play solo ever again, and the girl smiles happily, resting her head on the guy's chest like it's a safe zone before logging off to sleep. In the morning, the sun lights up the front of the residential building, where the pet shop is located, and in the bedroom, the MC wakes up completely suffocated and out of breath, realizing the girl went AFK directly on top of his chest, blocking his air intake. Unable to tank the heavy CC on his chest, the MC shoves the covers off to finally get some oxygen, and rolls out of bed super annoyed by the suffocation debuff, while the girl watches him with a sleepy look. Walking toward the living room, the guy decides to leave the zone, while she tracks him with her eyes, asking what he's up to. The shopkeeper crashes on the couch, dropping a massive sigh of relief that his breathing mechanics are finally working again. Complaining to the girl, he reminds her she promised not to spam random movements, and that she almost sent him to the Shadow Realm. Sitting shyly on the couch, the girl apologizes with a super guilty look, confessing she accidentally grappled him in her sleep, and gives him the ultimate puppy dog eyes, begging her master not to rage quit, promising she won't fumble like that again. The MC sighs, taking the L and accepting her apology, suggesting they jump back into the spiritual base to check on the life tree's XP. Popping off with a jump, the girl celebrates, super hyped about the idea of visiting the spiritual map, while the guy scratches his head, wondering if he actually locked a contract with a plant mob, or if he accidentally adopted a rebellious teenager. Loading into their mystic territory, they instantly spot tiny glowing silver plants that spawned all around the main trunk, and the shopkeeper is mind blown to see the girl already speed, farmed 10 sprouts of the reaping grass, and buffed them to transcendent level 10. Realizing that the second his main tree levels up, all the companion plants will automatically trigger their evolution cutscene too. The guy thinks to himself that nobody on the server can ever claim his ancient tree of life lacks DPS, confidently concluding that even his most cracked battle pets would struggle to survive a 1v1 against those silver sprouts' broken damage. Suddenly, massive purple vines covered in spikes start speed, rendering out of the dirt, revealing it's the legendary 1000-star vine, loaded with the insane hack to perma, CC literally any opponent, with the MC watching proudly as his plant base gets built up so fast. And the girl explains that with her current stats, she can only speed grow platinum tier seeds, and anything higher would cause major lag. Patting his duo partner's head, the guy says it's no big deal since he can just drop some gold to buy platinum, diamond, or red star seeds straight from the market. The shopkeeper smirks, remembering there's zero reason to burn their own mana on problems that can easily be solved by swiping a card, suggesting they take a walk through the city server to go on a shopping spree for those new mats. Walking through the Magic City's packed commercial district, the duo checks out the heavy player traffic around the shops, and the MC inspects the windows stacked with rare, expensive seeds, commenting on the massive loot pool the metropolis has to offer. Grabbing the guy's arm like a total introvert, the girl asks him not to walk too fast, so she doesn't get lost in the massive lobby, walking right into a huge superstore that strictly mains spiritual plant seeds, where they check out the premium drops on display, with price tags ranging from thousands to millions of coins, proving how crazy the economy for these fruits is. The shopkeeper thinks about how farming these sprouts is a nightmare for most players, and the RNG survival rate is usually garbage, but he drops a smirk, remembering that with his ancient trees broken farming hack, survival rates are literally a non-issue, and calls the NPC over, saying he wants to bulk buy 1,000 seeds of every single rare dark-type species in the inventory. Adding more items to the cart, the MC requests 100 seeds of both the Hell Tree and the Purgatory Tree to finish the transaction. Shook by the massive order, the store manager wipes the sweat off his face and enthusiastically tells the whale to hold on a sec. Coming back with the loot box, the man says the total rings up to 32,100,000 coins, but he'll give a bro discount and drop it to a flat 32 million. The shopkeeper then asks if official professors from the Magic City University unlock any special VIP discounts, with the manager confirming they do, and asking him to scan his ID to verify the stats in the system. Handing over his personal keycard, the guy waits for the discount code to process, and the man drops the card on the digital scanner to read the data, leaving the clerk completely stunned, locked when the UI confirms a massive 50% discount for the young Professor Liu. The man is absolutely mind blown, calling the guy a prodigy speedrunner for unlocking such a high-tier admin role at such a low level, and the red-haired girl next to him proudly celebrates, declaring her master is officially the most cracked tamer on the server. Handing his payment card over, the MC tells him to run the final amount, looking totally chill, thinking to himself that the university dean was insanely fast at patching his official professor perks into the system, when suddenly the red-haired girl tugs his sleeve, whispering that her radar just pinged an amethyst class seed on the back shelf. The shopkeeper looks surprised by his ally's call out, and follows her lead straight to the exact coordinates at the back of the map. Spotting the tiny hidden bag, the girl grabs the loot with stars in her eyes, hyping up the epic discovery, and asks the clerk what the price tag is on these 5 specific seeds she just pulled. Surprised by the pull, the man explains those seeds are totally corrupted, and he was planning to delete them from his inventory soon, with the girl standing firm, confirming she absolutely wants to lock in the purchase for those exact sprouts. The manager drops the lore that even though they belong to the amethyst class space fruit tree, the seeds are completely drained of HP and basically dead, showing off the dry, dark pixels in the palm of his hand, proving they have literally zero market value, and laughs it off, saying he'll just drop the items into her inventory for free as a bonus gift. Super hyped, the girl massively thanks the clerk for the free loot, while the shopkeeper does a mental victory dance, realizing he just scored 5 ultra rare diamond class mats without spending a single coin. Back at the aesthetic green zone of his spiritual base, the duo sets up under the shade of the massive tree, and the MC holds the dry seeds, getting ready to spawn all of them into the premium soil. Channeling his life magic, a shower of green pixels hits the dirt, making the sprouts speed, grow and bloom into gorgeous flowers instantly. Satisfied, the guy tells his ally that with the ancient tree's broken farming buff, they'll be claiming the harvest in no time, and plans to use all these rare drops to feed his shadow dragon and his bird empress, so he never has to swipe his card for food again. When he suddenly hears a random NPC voice outside his shop, calling for someone to spawn at the front desk. Looking toward the door surprised, the MC wonders if he just caught a new player walking into his lobby, and spots a green-haired guy with glasses timidly entering the main zone. The visitor walks in deep in thought, plotting that since he finally awakened his tamer talent, he'd literally liquidate his own base if he found the right beast. And the MC greets him with a super friendly vibe, welcoming the new player to the server. The glasses guy looks surprised and asks if a low-level kid like him is actually the admin of this shop, with the shopkeeper politely confirming he is, and asking what kind of build he's trying to run for his playthrough, and the client drops his stats, saying he mains a C-tier spiritual arts talent and wants to pull a plant or life type starter for his duo queue. Smiling, the MC reaches out and grabs a glass jar, guaranteeing he's got the absolute god roll for him in stock, leaving the visitor super surprised and hyped to see the recommended pull, revealing a tiny jar that holds a super basic, low poly green plant sprout. The second the client sees the sprout, he gets incredibly triggered, thinking the shopkeeper is running a massive scam, and rages, yelling that it's literally just a generic willow sapling and there's no way it counts as an elite tier pet. Keeping his cool, the MC explains that this specific little willow actually spawned with the ultra rare blood refinement growth hack, detailing that it can literally extract the DNA from other mobs to map out the most broken evolution tree in the game. Leaving the client totally stunned, locked and speechless, hearing about a growth talent so overpowered it sounds like a dev command. Having zero time for a debate, the MC bluntly states the willow sapling costs 3 million coins and tells the guy to log out if he doesn't want to buy it. Triggered by the massive paywall, the guy screams that the shop is a fraud and threatens to report the guy's account to the Tamer Association mods. When suddenly, the giant black dragon spawns right behind the counter, dropping a terrifying roar straight at the guy. Trembling with fear, the raider tries to act tough, screaming that he won't be bullied by the beast's aggro. Sprinting out the door in a panic, he warns that the shopkeeper is gonna get banned for this. With the MC sighing next to his pet, complaining that noobs just don't know how to recognize premium loot when they see it. And grips the sapling's tank, stressed that the plant might actually despawn in his inventory because no one wants to buy it. The guy thinks hard, realizing the system quest timer is strictly capped at 1 week and the clock is ticking way too fast. Dropping the jar on the desk, he plots that if no one buys the pet in the next few days, he'll have to ask the dean or the young master for a carry. Fully confident in the plant's endgame stats, the shopkeeper grabs a vial of magic potion, swearing this little sapling is gonna pull off massive plays in the future, pouring the glowing liquid over the dirt to kickstart the farming process for the little willow sprout, which starts radiating a super heavy red glow while vacuuming up all the mana from the potion. The next day, the scene shifts to the massive, cyberpunk-style headquarters of the Magic City's Tamer Association. Smashing his fist on the help desk, the green-haired guy demands to file an official report against a local shop, with the receptionist looking surprised, asking exactly which merchant he's trying to get banned. The glasses guy yells, accusing the shop of charging insane pay to win prices and having a super toxic customer service vibe. With absolute patience, the receptionist slides him a form and tells him to fill out his data before going AFK in the lobby. Gripping the paper with a villainous smirk, the guy celebrates, plotting how he's gonna get this scam shop permanently deleted very soon. While the camera cuts to the office door of the head mod of the Tamer Association. Walking into the room, the staff member hands the ticket to her boss, saying they just caught a player report, and the supervisor takes the paper to scan the log data. His eyes go wide with shock when he reads the targeted shop's username, immediately getting suspicious, realizing the report was filed directly against the MC's legendary mythic pet shop, and instantly remembers that the university dean himself pulled up yesterday, demanding the association put a protection ward on that exact base. Recalling the dean rated the shop as the absolute highest tier on the server and demanded full admin support for its business. Raging at the situation, the supervisor jumps up, yelling that some clueless troll is trying to grief his career, and Speed walks down the corridors heading straight for the waiting lobby, pulling up on the green-haired guy who's just chilling comfortably on the couch. The supervisor seriously asks if he's the one who submitted the ticket against the mythic pet shop, and the client smiles, confirming it and telling them to ban the shopkeeper ASAP so they can wipe the server of scammers. The supervisor glares at the guy, dropping the lore that he already ran a background check and the shop's rep and pet stats are flawless, even scoring commendations from the dean, and firmly states that this is a fake report spawned from pure player toxicity, leaving the glasses guy completely shook, realizing his whole griefing strat just totally backfired. Stuttering in absolute panic, the reporter tries to backpedal, saying he must have clicked the wrong button and begs to cancel the ticket instantly. But the head mod shuts him down hard, warning that lying to the admins carries a 3-day ban, and he's only dodging it because it's his first offense. Bowing non-stop in terror, the guy swears he'll never try a toxic play like that again, and sprints out of the HQ as fast as possible to avoid getting his account flagged. While the supervisor thinks to himself that if the shop is getting hyped by the dean, he really needs to take his own kid there to pull a pet. Under the bright sun of the Magic City, the NPC foot traffic on the sidewalks is flowing as usual. Walking along with a travel suitcase, a black-haired girl is totally doomed, scrolling her own life, feeling like a massive failure after hitting adulthood, and quietly cries, remembering she failed her exams and all the gold she grinded from her part-time quest was totally hijacked by her mom. Getting sad flashbacks to her mom screaming, demanding more cash and claiming her grind was just basic duty. Totally depressed about her bad RNG in life, the girl wanders the city map with 0 coordinates, and decides to pass by the massive Tamer University just to look at the zone before logging off for good. Pausing right at the gates of the elite institution to admire the campus she always dreamed of joining, but the gate guard drops a toxic warning that non-players aren't allowed in the zone, making the girl back away and apologize. And she drags her suitcase away, sad that she couldn't even complete the simple side quest of checking out the map. Stopping right in front of the mythic pet shop, the girl notices a tiny potted plant chilling on the outdoor display table, and zeroes in on the sprout, suddenly feeling super curious about it. Staring at the plant, she wonders why she's picking up a weird magic resonance coming from that little willow sapling. Inside the base, the MC is comfortably AFK in his armchair, thinking about how he burned a ton of premium mats to buff that sapling over the last 2 days. And stresses out, wondering if the plant is gonna end up expiring in his inventory, because no one wants to drop 3 million coins on a basic willow. Deciding to get up and check the radar outside, he spots the black-haired girl locked onto the plant with extreme focus just outside the door, with the girl absolutely mesmerized by how aesthetic and rare that plant-type mob looks, realizing that the willow's red aura seems to perfectly sync up with her own energy vibe. The shopkeeper walks up, asking with a friendly tone if the girl wants to roll for the creature, while the tiny sprout's leaves start vibrating magically toward her, leaving her shook that the plant actually understands her. And the MC steps closer, asking if she's digging the visual on his mystic pet. Jump scared by the guy, the girl blushes and stutters, saying she was just admiring the plant while passing through, with the shopkeeper introducing himself as the admin and offering her special perms to touch the sprout. And she looks surprised, asking if she's really allowed to run a test on the plant. Gently tapping the leaf, the sapling instantly lights up with an intense red and green glow, leaving the girl amazed as she feels that resonance from before turn into a super clear, high-definition signal. The MC watches the cutscene, totally surprised, realizing the girl has an insanely high synergy rate with the willow sapling, and asks if the plant is trying to ping her with a telepathic message. And she answers confused, saying the plant seems to be asking to initiate a fusion with her avatar. Smirking, the shopkeeper does a mental pop off, realizing he just found the absolute perfect tamer for his mystic pet, suggesting she drop a single HP point of blood on the leaves to lock in the contract. Panicking, the girl's speed declines, claiming her basic tear blood could corrupt the willow and ruin his chances of flipping it. But the MC confidently hypes it up, saying he runs the server here and insists she gives it a try. Taking the bet, the girl shyly decides to agree to the duo test, and lightly bites her finger, dropping a tiny squeak of pain, letting the drop of blood fall onto the willow's leaves, which instantly glow, blasting a massive wave of HP energy down the entire street. Soaking up the girl's blood, the willow sapling's leaves start blazing with intense red and green flames. And the girl gets super hyped seeing the little plant pull off a miraculous, instant level up. Spotting the insane synergy, the shopkeeper friendly asks if she wants to buy the creature now. But the girl looks down totally embarrassed, confessing she has 0 coins in her inventory to cover the bill, and sadly complains that since she never unlocked a tamer talent, she wouldn't have the stats to control a pet anyway. The MC chilly claps back, saying gold isn't an issue, and asks if she's absolutely sure she doesn't have a talent, leaving the girl super confused by the guy's cryptic dialogue, when suddenly, the last drop of blood from her finger hits the plant's glowing leaf, making her look up in shock at the insane RNG event that triggers right after, and a massive wave of heat and red flames completely engulfs the young tamer's avatar, rendering a glowing phoenix emblem right on her forehead, signaling she just awakened the legendary S-tier true immortal blood talent. Terrified by the sudden stat boost, she stutters, completely unable to believe her crazy gacha luck, with the shopkeeper smiling, asking if she finally noticed her talent just got patched in, explaining that because the willow recognized her, her blood got refined, and asks if she's really gonna ignore the creature's ping. And the girl cries tears of joy, realizing this is literally the first time in her playthrough anyone ever expected greatness from her. Completely locked in, the red-haired girl firmly announces she wants to sign the contract with the Mystic Willow, showing the few low-tier coins left in her inventory. She apologizes for not having enough gold to pay the shopkeeper, but the MC repeats that gold is irrelevant and suggests she take the 3 million coin pet as a loan. Spooked by the massive debt, she panics, asking how she could ever grind enough to pay him back. So the shopkeeper drops the pitch, offering her a slot as his assistant to pay off the debt by grinding quests at the shop. Accepting the invite instantly, the girl swears she'll speedrun any task the manager gives her with absolute focus. Satisfied, the guy flashes a thumbs up, making her hiring as the new desk clerk official. Right then, the system assistant spawns in to hit the shopkeeper with a GG for recruiting his first guild member, dropping a Supreme Mystic tier random loot box right on his holographic UI, revealing it's the legendary True Dragon Origin Blood, an item with the broken hack to morph any pet into a legit Mystic Dragon, leaving the MC completely shook, realizing that rare drop was only rumored to exist in the server's oldest lore. Remembering that the country's main guardian dragon only needed to consume 1 single drop of this mat to hit Holy Spirit class and hard carry the nation against 6 rival clans. Thinking that if he feeds this buff to his demonic dragon, its DPS will scale to a literally uncountable number, and the new assistant shyly pings him, asking what her first daily quests are going to be in the shop. Smiling, the shopkeeper suggests she go buy some cooking mats, guaranteeing she'll get free housing and a cut of every sale they make. Humming happily, the new clerk grabs her suitcase and heads out to clear the grocery quest. Back inside, MU floats down next to the MC, calling out to her master, and hands him a cup of tea brewed from the fresh leaves of the 1,000-star vine, asking him to test it out. Serving the shopkeeper with all the gentle aesthetic of her plant skills, the MC takes a sip of the drink, looking completely chill and relaxed, and is blown away by the premium flavor, commenting that any other high-tier drink would taste like tap water compared to this spiritual tea. When the doors slide open as the new clerk returns carrying all the loot bags from her grocery run, with the shopkeeper thanking her for the carry and telling her to stash the items in the back kitchen, scaring the girl when she suddenly spots the gorgeous floating mob chilling next to her boss. And the shopkeeper introduces her, explaining it's his veteran partner named MU, and tells the clerk to call her Big Sis, adding that even though her hitbox is small, she's actually a 1,000-year-old tree spirit and deserves major respect. Mesmerized by how cute the leaf creature is, the assistant celebrates, super hyped to see such an aesthetic humanoid monster. The MC then drops the news that tomorrow he's starting his lectures at the university, and he's leaving the base entirely in the hands of his two helpers, leaving the clerk absolutely stun-locked, finding out her young boss is already a professor at the elite server she wasn't even allowed to log into. And she confidently swears she'll keep the pet shop running flawlessly while he's AFK. Sitting on his bed that night, the MC admits it'd be cap to say he isn't sweating a little about tomorrow's lectures, and decides to prep his stats. Opening the system manus, he checks out the knowledge downloads available on his holographic AG, and spots the memory inheritance of the 7-star breeder, which only costs a cheap 300 points. Smashing the confirm button, he buys the drop without a second thought, with the system verifying the purchase and booting up the download sequence straight into the guy's brain, wrapping the young guy's head in a heavy glowing energy while the files install, making the MC literally levitate off the mattress until the entire lore package is fully absorbed. And he gets hit with cutscenes of dev-tier scientists from an ancient era running crazy high-tech cultivation labs, seeing facilities dedicated entirely to maxing out the genetic scaling of ultra-rare mobs, discovering classified lore about a sketchy project trying to literally build a mystic god that was manipulating a massive chunk of dark energy locked inside a giant glass tank, with the PC monitor flashing that the dark energy experiment was a complete success, revealing the spawn of a terrifying red-eyed demon god that completely scares the guy. And the creature drops a devastating nuke that completely wipes the research lab off the map, spreading absolute chaos and deleting every single building in the ancient mega city. Waking up panicked and sweating bullets, the MC realizes with terror that the old players literally spawned a demon god that might be the final boss of the current server, and drops back on the bed, trying to calm his heart rate after seeing the playback of that unbeatable raid boss. Sighing, he admits he still has a massive grind ahead of him before he can hit max level. The next day, the sun shines peacefully on the sidewalk right outside the MC's famous base. Stepping out of the shop, the shopkeeper says peace to his new clerk and hands over the admin keys to her. Then spawns his massive black dragon, which drops into the middle of the street looking like an absolute unit, and the demonic beast roars, blasting its red flames all over the spawn zone, taking off into the city sky with the MC and young NU riding along, leaving the assistant totally amazed by her boss's flex, commenting on the ridiculous power scaling of his contracted beast. Meanwhile, the player traffic at the gates of the Magic City's Tamer University is super heavy. In the halls, the students are hyping up the rumors about the new 18-year-old tutor who's taking over the combat lobbies, and gossiping about the leaks saying the new prof has a super close family tie with the dean, with some cocky student trashing the guy, claiming he must be a total fraud with zero actual stats. In the staff room, another teacher tries to drag the MC, telling the professor the hire was definitely just pure nepotism. But the professor smirks confidently, swearing she knows the kid's build, and he is literally the most overpowered tamer on the entire server. The coworker is completely shook, remembering the professor has always been super elitist and has never hyped anyone up like that. Muttering that after hearing all that praise, he's 100% going to spec into today's demo lecture to check the guy's stats for himself. And she walks away carrying her data logs, seriously warning him not to use any weird nicknames for her so the shopkeeper doesn't get the wrong idea. Slumped on his desk, the man complains with massive jealousy, unable to compute how some kid managed to pull the most untouchable girl on campus, while the camera pans to the long, dead silent hallways of the male tamer dorms. In the study room, the gray-haired guy asks his childhood bro if he isn't curious to check out the stats on the new tutor, who is the exact same 18 years old as them. But the brown-haired guy stays locked onto his reading, coldly replying he doesn't care about the stats of low-tier NPCs. The gray-haired bro reminds him that his friend is a speedrunner who pulled 2 S-tier talents at age 6 and was soloing 2 giant dragons by age 8. Asking why a literal god-tier prodigy would even care about a random elective class from a new prof. And the kid glares at him with his eyes glowing yellow, coldly asking if there's any other quest he needs to turn in. Spooked by his friend's heavy aggro, the gray-haired guy quickly says peace and sprints out of the room so he doesn't trigger a boss fight. Left alone, the prodigy goes back to his ancient lore book, stressing over why he can't unlock the dragon magic hidden in the text. Touching the old yellow pages, super tilted that he can't get the RNG to work for his build. Shortly after, the crowd of students pushing into the university's massive main auditorium starts growing insanely fast, with players gossiping in surprise that the admins actually unlocked the grand conference hall, which is usually hard, locked for veteran profs only. Scanning the crowd, the students spot the pink-haired girl and her support friend pulling up to watch the lecture, and catch sight of the heavyweight Luo family young master, standing looking super serious in the middle of the bleachers. Also noticing the dean's grandsons walking through the aisles giving off friendly vibes, until they spot the toxic third-year leader posted up right behind the professor, with one student complaining that, based on his stats, the leader shouldn't even unlock the tutor class until after he graduates. Right then, the pink-haired girl spots the arrogant blonde who griefed her in the shop and realizes she acts so cocky because she's enrolled here. A chubby classmate walks up to the blonde, nicely asking if she caught a debuff and offering to escort her back to the dorms. But she claps back super toxic, telling the guy to mind his own business. When suddenly, a student yells, announcing the new tutor just spawned on the main stage, revealing the MC casually strolling to the center of the auditorium rocking his red jacket, and a short-haired student blushes, checking the guy out and thinking the new prof's skin is absolutely flawless, leaving the toxic blonde completely paralyzed with fear. Realizing the new tutor is the exact same shopkeeper she treated like garbage, the MC says what's up to the crowd, apologizing for the slight lag getting there because of traffic, introduces himself, and drops the topic pet cultivation, explaining that any player looking to buff their monsters can freely queue up for his elective class, with the Liu family young master instantly throwing his hand up, screaming that he wants to claim the first slot. Following his lead, the girls in the bleachers also throw their hands up, hyped to join the training lobby. And the dean's grandsons wave with a smile, telling the shopkeeper not to forget to add them to the friend list, with the MC joking that he's capping the lobby at just 5 slots for now since he's still a noob at teaching. When the professor speaks up with a friendly tone, asking if she can spectate the classes as a listener, leaving the rest of the lobby totally stunned, seeing the dean's famously ice-cold disciple actually asking to sit in on another prof's lecture. The MC politely responds that she's welcome to drop in whenever she wants, and she smiles and says thanks, looking insanely happy about his answer. Suddenly, the toxic leader jumps up screaming, calling out the shopkeeper's stats, and accusing him of being a complete fraud who got carried by nepotism. Staring down the griefer, the MC just stays quiet, letting him talk. And the leader keeps raging, claiming the guy skipped the tutorial and doesn't have the DPS to outscale the veterans, aggressively stating that even the Liu clan prodigy could easily 1v1 him and win, with the MC replying with a sarcastic smirk, saying that specific prodigy doesn't even deserve to be on the same tier list as him, and judging a build purely by its rank is total noob behavior. Triggered, the leader challenges him to prove his real stats in a PvP duel, and the shopkeeper accepts, walking straight toward his opponent, spawning a tiny, glowing purple flame in the palm of his hand that puts out insane heat. And the MC announces that if any player in the room can tank this tiny flame for just 3 seconds, he'll permanently delete his tutor account. Shocked by the massive flex, a student comments on how crazy it is to try and win the round with just one basic fire spell, while the young prodigy watches the duel with disgust, wondering what kind of trash DPS a basic tamer could possibly have. But the Liu family young master reads the danger, panicking as he realizes it's the supreme exotic fire. Laughing cockily, the leader walks into the arena, claiming this whole flex is just a massive troll, and gets into stance right in front of the MC, ready to start the endurance check. Popping his gold magic, the challenger spawns a glowing metal sword right into his hands, wrapping his avatar in a golden armor set complete with epic wings, while he screams a taunt at the shopkeeper. The MC checks the transformation out, noting the opponent actually locked in contracts with 3 different metal beast variants, with the leader charging in with his sword, swearing he'll slice right through the shopkeeper's fire trick. And the guy casually drops a commend on the opponent's defense strat. but his face instantly drops, muttering that it's too bad the guy's IQ doesn't match his courage. Slashing his sword, the challenger throws all his DPS at the MC, and the metal blade crashes directly into the shopkeeper's tiny purple flame, leaving the leader absolutely terrified as his golden weapon instantly starts melting from the heat damage, until the gold sword completely shatters, scattering glowing pixels everywhere. Knocked back by the heat wave, the challenger crashes hard onto the arena floor and struggles to get up without his golden wings, panicking and asking how his build just got countered so hard. With the MC walking up super chill, telling the guy not to rush so he can feel the true dot of his purple fire, engulfing the opponent's avatar in heavy flames that start melting the rest of his metal armor, leaving the leader in absolute panic mode, watching the purple fire delete his final layer of defense. And he cries in terror, dropping to his knees and begging Professor Lu not to finish him off, screaming desperately that he admits he threw the game, while he gets swallowed by a massive explosion of fire energy. Quickly clenching his fist, the MC instantly cancels the spell, reminding everyone that as a prof, he'd never drop a fatal strike on a student, and smirks, claiming he'd never actually secure a kill on a player in the academy, leaving the leader collapsed on his knees, completely drained of stamina, stripped of his armor, and covered in ash, crying over the humiliating L, with the guy totally collapsing, having 0 HP left to stand. And he passes out from exhaustion right on the arena floor in front of the whole server. The shopkeeper drops some sarcasm, asking if the absolute best student in the 3rd year really has such a pathetic defense stat, while the other students whisper in pure shock, saying that not even an overlord, tier tamer could tank the Do-Da-Ti from that flame for that long. And young NU spawns floating next to the MC, helpfully asking if her master wants her to cast a heal on the downed player. The MC tells his partner to chill, saying there's no need for a heal since the guy's HP isn't 0, he's just out of stamina, and turns to the stage, asking the professor to help cart the downed player to the medbay so he can get back to his elective lecture, with the other professor wiping his sweat, annoyed that the shopkeeper is using him like a free NPC escort. The shopkeeper turns back to the crowd, asking if any other player still thinks he doesn't have the stats for the job, leaving the entire auditorium in dead silence out of pure respect and fear. Seeing there are no more challengers, the guy decides it's the perfect time to drop his tutorial on beast cultivation, but a girl with long red hair interrupts, asking why he's maining pet breeding instead of running practical PvP classes. The shopkeeper chilly explains that actual PvP depends entirely on a maxed outbreeding build, and that high-tier reproduction is the core of the whole meta, leaving the girls in the class totally mesmerized by the guy's big brain and aesthetic, whispering that he's gonna have a massive fan club on the server starting today. With the MC keeping his serious posture on the main stage, he announces the lecture is wrapping up and says he wants to invite 2 players from the crowd for a live pet buffing demo, making tons of students eagerly throw their hands up, trying to score the ultra-rare carry. The MC scans the lobby and decides to pick Shen Nianian and Du Royan to come up to the stage, leaving the 2 besties insanely hyped that the shopkeeper picked them, even though the red-haired student drops a warning, saying those girls' beasts have already hit their level cap, and trying to buff them now is just a waste of mats. Backing her up, the Lu clan prodigy suggests the shopkeeper should just demonstrate on his own high-tier beast instead, but the MC friendly asks everyone to chill and stop being so impatient, joking with them, asking if they seriously believe the slime and the moonlight butterfly are hard, locked from leveling up ever again, with the red-haired girl stating firmly that it's canon lore that starter pets can only ever hit Awakening level 10 max. The shopkeeper claps back, saying the tamer meta has infinite routes, and the first step to hitting max rank is deleting your own mental debuffs. And the dean's voice echoes from the back of the room, totally agreeing with the young prof's take. Walking in looking totally chill, the old master mentions he finds the kids' concept of breaking the level cap super interesting, leaving the students completely shook, seeing the absolute highest admin of the university show up personally to spectate the class, with the shopkeeper popping open his black case, revealing a bunch of basic bronze and iron tier crystals, which makes the young prodigy look confused, not getting how the shopkeeper plans to pull off a miracle using literal trash tier loot. The MC shows off the colored stones, confirming that yeah, they are totally basic, low-level drops, but swears these are the absolute best, most cinced up mats to buff the girl's slime and butterfly, laying the crystals out neatly on the crafting table, and instructs the girls to mix the loot in the exact ratio he drops, then channel the energy straight into their spiritual bases. Even though they're a bit skeptical, the besties decide to 100% trust the young tutor's guide and kick off the fusion craft. Wrapped in a glowing blue aura, the slime and butterfly start floating above the stage, triggering a violent evolution animation, leaving the red-haired student completely stunned, locked as she watches an impossible glitch happen right in front of her, with the system holograms popping up, confirming both beasts just hit a massive power spike, breaking into Transcendent Level 1. And the young Lu prodigy is absolutely floored, seeing that such a basic farming strat actually pulled off a miracle, making the red-haired girl cover her mouth in shock, theory crafting that the young professor might actually be a legendary breeder from the ancient patches. Walking up to the guy, the dean praises the shopkeeper, admitting that finding a cheat code to break the Tamer server's hard rules is way beyond anything he could imagine, and the MC flexes, proudly stating that on his skill tree, nothing is impossible. With the girls celebrating their pet's evolution, realizing their own mana pools just leveled up along with the beasts, leaving the rest of the auditorium completely mind blown by the absolute god-tier results of the live demo, while the dean secretly plots to ask the shopkeeper to carry him and restore his own beast stats as soon as his mental space is fully patched. And the pink-haired girl runs up to the MC, saying a massive thanks for the carry with her slime. The shopkeeper winks like a bro, quietly asking her not to leak the crafting recipe to the rest of the server, leaving the girl blushing super hard and completely flustered by the guy's friendly vibe. While the blue-haired friend happily checks out her Moonlight Butterfly's new stats, and the shopkeeper drops a comment, saying the evolution tree she picked for her caterpillar was a top-tier choice. Hyping the student up, the MC tells her to keep grinding her beast with focus because he expects her to hit high ELO soon, with the blue-haired girl confirming with pure determination that she's gonna sweat hard for her creature. The shopkeeper jokes that the only real reason he carried them was because his eyes were bleeding seeing his own customers hard, stuck at Awakening level 10, and drops the tip that if they hit Transcendent class in under a year, they'll unlock epic scholarships, inviting them to drop by his shop to pull their second pet. Scratching his head with a smile, the guy complains internally about having to leak so much premium lore just to secure some future pet sales, and says peace to the class, officially wrapping up his very first elective stream. Walking down the campus halls, the students start logging out for the day, saying goodbye to the young tutor, with the shopkeeper waving back and spotting the absolute look of pure regret and toxic rage on his blonde ex's face down the hall. Walking up to her, the chubby student asks why she's acting like such a simp for Professor Lu, claiming the guy is a literal god-tier prodigy who is completely out of the league of casuals like them. Triggered by the roast, the blonde rages, leaking the lore that Professor Lu used to be her actual boyfriend, leaving the chubby classmate totally shook, assuming she's just making up a massive cap story for clout, and she angrily insists, asking why he won't believe her patch notes about the guy's backstory, with the classmate thinking she's totally glitching out, offering to grab her a potion from the med bay to chill her out, leaving the blonde furious, screaming that everyone else is just blind to the real lore. Speed pulling out her phone, the blonde opens her blocked contacts list and searches for the MC's tag, and types out a massive apology text for throwing his run in the past, begging him to party up and date her again, hitting send with a desperate look, hoping she can pull his aggro back. But the UI pops a red error, saying the message failed to send because she's permanently blocked on his friend list, leaving the girl in total despair, pulling her own hair and screaming, wondering why he's treating her like an absolute NPC. During the night, in the quiet, chill recovery zone of the university medbay, the defeated third-year leader is AFK on the hospital bed, surrounded by worried medics and profs, and the head doctor checks the player logs, dropping a heavy sigh of stress, with the professor asking how it's even possible for a Starry Sky level 10 tamer to catch such a brutal L from a single basic flame. The doc explains that even though she can't ID that purple fire, the kid's HP was basically 0, and he should have been deleted if it weren't for a glitch in the damage calc, revealing that the leftover heat from the purple flame is actually giving a miraculous regen buff, keeping the kid alive on the bed, leaving the other professor spooked, realizing the shopkeeper has god-like control over such a broken, overpowered element. And he stresses, mentioning the student is from the heavyweight Luo family down south, and the academy would get banned if anything happened to him. The doc adjusts her glasses, totally chill, guaranteeing the player's HP will fully stabilize from here on out, spawning her little green healing fairy to cast the ultimate recovery spell on the kid, who starts glowing under the bright light. The glasses prof is shook, recognizing the plant mob as an ultra-rare forest royal fairy, from which the tiny alley channels a green healing beam that floats softly over the downed player's avatar, making the bowl-cut kid slowly open his eyes as his system reboots, and he sits up confused, asking the profs why he spawned in the school medbay, with the doc explaining he tried to 1v1 the new elective tutor, but got completely washed by a single spark of purple fire. Holding his head in pain, the guy complains that as the Lu hair with an S-tier talent, he already accepted he couldn't match the Lu clan's prodigy. but asks in total despair why the stat gap between him and the new Professor Lu Yu is so unbelievably massive. The doc gives him some serious advice, reminding him that above S tier, there are SS and the mythical SSS tiers, meaning there's always a bigger whale on the server. Taking the L, the young guy admits the shopkeeper's DPS is on a level he can't even comprehend. Listening to the chat, the glasses prof asks in surprise if the new tutor's username is really Lu Yu, and if he looks 18, noting he looks exactly like the school's prodigy, and comments, mind blown, that the shopkeeper literally shares about 70% of his character model with the hair Lu Shu. Hearing that, the doc flashes back to when she was a noob, and heard veteran players talking about the prodigy's cousin, who spawned with a corrupted, glitchy talent. Remembering the kid got permanently banned from the Lu family on a stormy night and vanished from the server completely. And she thinks in shock about how the kid managed to log back in with such insane stats, wondering what the clan's reaction will be to his return, guessing whether the overpowered dynasty will admit they threw and try to recruit him, or just try to permanently delete the young prof's account. Meanwhile, the halls of the university's male dorm are dead quiet. And inside one of the rooms, the gray-haired guy is hyped, telling his bro that the new Prof Lu Yu totally washed the third-year leader with just one shadow spark, detailing like a fanboy that the shopkeeper managed to stomp a Dark Moon level 3 player, while only sitting at Awakening level 10. The gray-haired guy asks if his friend is seriously not going to visit the auditorium to check the guy's stats, suggesting that with his insane potential, he should queue up for the elective class to learn those broken pet farming strats. But the young prodigy turns around with pure disgust, stating only veteran profs are worth his time, and a noob tutor isn't worth the stamina. Thinking internally that his main quest is fusing his 2S tier talents to unlock the Supreme SS class Dragon Bloodline, and stares at his book, completely triggered that he can't figure out why his two energy types keep giving each other a massive rejection debuff. All this frustration pulls him into a flashback from 12 years ago in the aesthetic gardens of the Lu family villa, when he and his cousin Lu Yu were just running around the grass, playing like regular low-level kids, until the clan admins grouped them up to drop the results of their spiritual talent RNG rolls, revealing that little Lu Shu pulled the S-tier Golden Dragon Shadow talent, while his cousin Lu Yu also rolled an S-tier talent, pulling the Sacred Dragon Shadow, with the clan leader smiling proudly, claiming that having these two kids co-op would carry the Lu family to rank 1 above the big 3 tamer dynasties, leaving little Lu Shu with a dark look, asking himself why his bro also had to pull an S-tier drop. Consumed by jealousy, the kid aggroes his cousin, shoving him to the floor and starting a PvP brawl, and sprints away down the mansion halls, thinking it would be way more meta if he was the only here with an S-tier buff. Sneaking straight into the clan's restricted library zone to farm some hidden lore. Looting the shelves, he celebrates finding an ancient manual for soul fusion spells, reading the patch notes that say 2 S-tier dragon shadows can be merged to spawn a Supreme SS class power that easily stumps any casual tamer, and the kid drops an evil smirk, muttering it would be way better if his cousin's stats got wiped so they could stay duo partners forever. Snapping back to the present, his gray-haired bro pulls him out of the cutscene, asking why he's lagging out, and keeps pushing the recommendation, saying Prof Lu Yu's elective class will drop massive XP for his build. Raging at the spam, the prodigy speed dashes and grabs his friend by the throat, demanding he drop the exact intel on the tutor, glaring with pure hate, asking for the new university prof's full username, with the guy choking in terror, struggling to spit out that the name is Lu Yu. Dropping his friend, Lu Shu lets him crash backward while trying to get his stamina back, and the hair clenches his fists in absolute fury, realizing the cousin he got banned years ago just spawned back in as an elite prof at his own school. Complaining with pure hate that the guy is still acting like his stats are higher than his, just doing it stealthily, and slams his desk, swearing he's not letting this slide, and will do whatever it takes to permanently delete his old rival's account. In the university's main courtyard, the MC is casually walking with the professor and the dean, with the old man thanking him for the lecture and promising to hit up the mythic pet shop to pull a new beast as soon as his space is fully patched. And the shopkeeper replies like a bro, saying he'll be waiting for the master to drop by, but the MC suddenly stops moving, spotting a familiar player blocking the path ahead, revealing the young prodigy Lu Zhu, who glares at him, commenting that they haven't queued up together in a long time. Surprised by the random encounter, the professor asks if the two guys already have each other on their friend lists, and the MC confirms they're super tight. Smirking sarcastically at the here, the MC doubles down, saying their duo history goes way back, and the brown-haired guy replies coldly, saying he's shocked to see his cousin manage to respawn after everything. The shopkeeper fires back with a taunt, asking if his sweet little bro has been enjoying his playthrough all these years. leaving the hare sweating with rage, demanding to know how he managed to restore his HP and become a tamer again after his talent got permanently extracted. Keeping it chill, the MC answers with some cryptic lore, saying he's got a major question he wants to ask face to face too. Staring down his cousin with a hardcore, challenging glare, the shopkeeper coldly asks if his stolen talent has actually been giving him decent stats on his run, and pops his teleport magic, spawning glowing blue teleport circles right under both their feet, warping the hare completely out of the courtyard in a massive burst of spatial energy. Looking around panicked, the young prodigy realizes he just got dragged straight into the MC's spiritual instance, and rages, challenging the guy to stop camping and fight for real instead of trying to grief him with space hacks. Spawning in stealth right behind the opponent, the shopkeeper announces he's right here, and speed dashes, grabbing the hare by the throat with zero chill and lifting him entirely off the ground. The brown-haired guy chokes, trying to break the CC of the shopkeeper's crushing grip, with the MC coldly roasting his cousin's failed attempt to fuse the two dragon shadows back in the day, and the hare screams in fury, triggering all his battle pets to spawn and run defense for him, summoning two massive, imposing golden dragons that spawn flying around the spiritual arena, with the beasts dropping a heavy roar, spreading glowing flames all over the PvP zone, while the guy tries to break the MC's grapple, struggling with pure rage. Tossing his cousin backward, the shopkeeper lets him crash hard onto the grass of the Mystic Zone, and casually walks toward the downed player, announcing he's about to drop the answer to his earlier question, taunting him, saying the guy's Dragon Shadow talent is actually absolute trash tier and completely useless. Looking down with disgust at the hare's panicked reaction, and dropping a pity comment about his total lack of real DPS. Smashing the ground, the young prodigy gets completely triggered being called a noob by his old rival. Jumping up with his eyes burning in golden fire, he orders the MC to tank the ultimate attack from his strongest beast, with the giant golden dragon speed, dashing and firing a devastating energy blast straight at the MC,